228.
You're listening
to Joey Clark.
Joey Clark.
It's Joey Clark.
Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show, and Montgomery still needs a new mayor. Now, you might have heard there at that top of the hour news break from 1819 News that Coach Tuberville says the cavalry is coming. Now, I maintain Montgomery needs a new mayor, but perhaps Montgomery just needs a new governor. And I love hearing Coach Tuberville say this with Doug Singleton and Stephen Reed sitting right there along with all sorts of other folks. That he wants Montgomery to do well. And in fact says, I could have picked Montgomery for the relocation of Fannie Mae, but I couldn't get people to move to Montgomery. Why is that? Because your streets aren't safe. We have to straighten this town out, says Tuberville, when it comes to the neighborhoods and streets, because if you don't have that, nothing's going to happen here. We're going to continue to decline. The cavalry's coming. The cavalry's coming. We're going to have safe streets. We're going to have safe neighborhoods. We're going to support law enforcement, he said. Tuberville went on to praise Trump and team for wanting to bring more industry and all sorts of things to Alabama, saying that the capital city should be the most booming area in the state. I would love to tell him Montgomery, Alabama. Speaking of Trump, Tuberville continued, and I'd look him in the eye and tell him, that's the best place to move people, to move products, to be very successful. I'm going to, because we're going to make progress here. We've got to grow this city, said Coach. This city is the capital of the state of Alabama. It should be number one. It should be growing leaps and bounds, but it is not doing so. So as much as you might think, well, let's rely on city politics, if you have a governor that actually cares about the capital city, cares about the crime in the streets, cares about the economic development of the city, perhaps we can actually get a lot of things done. Now, I think it's going to be predictable to watch because you're already seeing Doug throw out all the allusions to George Wallace and stuff. So it's not that far-fetched to think that perhaps the current mayor, well, he's going to be best of enemies with Coach Tuberville. But hopefully, despite what the two will probably have in public as many a spat, hopefully at meetings like the one Tuberville was just at the chamber, but more importantly, when he actually gets sworn in as governor, that the men involved, whether on the county commission or on the city council or in the mayor's office. And heck, a lot of people around a lot of the surrounding communities, if they all get in the same room and they have a leader actually in the governor's mansion, perhaps something can get done going in the positive direction. I say perhaps because I love that spirit from Tuberville, calling out the problem but saying we're going to fix it. Of course, we'll see once he gets in there. It's very easy to campaign, folks. It's much more difficult to govern. And Tuberville, again, talking more and more about the state in particular, he's saying AI is the future. I think it is. But in particular, this is the context. Tuberville was talking about State Superintendent Mackey for the education system. His pledge to reform the state's antiquated K-12 system. Now, is it antiquated? Yes, probably. But I would say be careful with the AI everything. It's one thing to help supplement human beings. It's another thing to replace them. But at a recent public appearance at the state capitol, Tuberville applauded the work of Eric Mackey, the state superintendent, as he simultaneously pledged to reform the state's K-12 education system should he be elected governor. Tuberville spoke to a full house there, and this is, again, the Chamber of Commerce meeting. One of the subjects he broached beyond just cleaning up Montgomery and making sure it's a place that's safe and can actually attract business is the K-12 education system. Workforce is going to be huge, Tuberville said. We're going to change our K-12. We're going to work with people and bring somebody in. Dr. Mackey, I think, has done a very good job. We're going to work with our State Board of Education. Folks, our K-12 education is antiquated. It's 100 years old, and we need to make changes. Like I said, AI is coming, but we got to get back into the workforce. We got to start teaching workforce in the 9th and 10th grade. Governor Ivey has done a great job making sure our kids can learn, read, and write before 3rd grade. It's been awesome. I'm going to get even better. AI is the future, Tuberville went on to say. We're going to start teaching AI in the young grades. We need to teach ethics. They need to know how to use it and understand it. It is going to grow, but it is going to allow them to get a better education. Tuberville also mentioned reforms to the state's community colleges to place a greater emphasis on entering the workforce. Also pledging a come-to-Jesus moment, quote-unquote, with 4-year colleges to discuss what they're teaching. Our 4-year universities, they have a place, Tuberville said, but they don't have a place to have degrees that they open up to our kids that cost them $150,000 to get a degree, but when they get out, they can't get a job at Walmart. That's over with. We're not teaching those surfing degrees or criminal justice, these things just to say you got a college degree. It doesn't make a difference anymore, folks. You better have a skill to get a job. Well, and that's always the thing. Whether you're going to college or not going to college, the whole point of whatever you're doing is to get a skill, do a job. And there's some strange jobs, and AI is going to create new jobs that it's hard to even imagine at the moment. And this is why you need folks training up at the ground floor. But again, I worry that especially our public K-12 systems, it's not just the public schools, a lot of private schools have leaned into this as well. Their main function, as much as, again, teachers try, some of them try, as much as they say their main function is to educate the children, let's be honest. Kind of to babysit the children, to have a daycare for the children, a place to put the kids while the parents go to work. And you hope they're not being fed all sorts of ridiculous slop or that they're unsafe in any way. You would like them to get an education. But the fascinating thing is the parent that really cares about their kids' education enough to, say, devote a certain percentage of their income to their kids' education, no matter their income level, the kid usually ends up doing better when the parent has that extra focus, where there is that reinforcement, or I would say the initial shove and thrust of you better get an education is coming from home. And that's the thing. It's not parents that reinforce. It should be the schools that reinforce what the parents have already instilled in the kids. But again, we like to believe every parent really cares and is really trying and is doing their level best. And this really is a theme that's going on these days, that I'm okay and you're okay. Everybody's okay. Everybody lives up to the aspirations that they say. Of course they do in politics, but of course, like professions that we love. And you don't want to speak ill of them because maybe you know some people that work in those professions. But that's the thing. Just get the people in the professions to talk about it, whether teachers or nurses or police officers or even being a parent. So, no, you're not okay. I'm not okay. Nobody's okay. We could always do better. But if you're a parent that's kind of, maybe you're too busy, whatever the excuse is, you're too busy, too preoccupied with this, that, or the other. Maybe you really are clinically depressed. Maybe you're out of your depth. You just don't know. And you're doing the best you can. Dadgummit, Joey, I'm doing the best I can. And you're not even a parent. Shut up. Like, I get it. But let's just be honest. School, in a lot of instances, is daycare. It's a place to put the kids when you have to go to work. And that's about the extent of it. Now, again, there are great teachers. There are some interesting things that can be done. But a lot of this is like certain lesson plans, certain approaches to teaching kids. Could they be replaced by an AI robot? You bet. And that's not a reason to demonize the AI or the robots. It's a reason to demonize the way the system has worked for so long. Not just demonize it to demonize it, but to change it. Now, I don't know exactly what Coach Tuberville has said here. I don't know if Coach Tuberville knows exactly what he means by overhauling K through 12. But he's right in the spirit of it, in the main thrust of it. But if our schools are more acting like daycares, babysitters, just watching the kids, sort of giving the kids something to do. I remember a lot of worksheets. If you then take the human element and you just have AI giving the kids something to do, AI watching over the kids, I think you're going to see even worse grades. In fact, the numbers are in. As we've played clips before from so-called experts, that the more digital things have become, where the reward system of like, pass this test, get this quiz right, learn this lesson, the reward system is based on the digital device essentially saying, good job. Who cares what the screen says? It's not even alive. What a kid cares about especially is, what does that other person think? Especially that person I look up to. So AI is the future. But we could make some damning, I use that in every sense of the word, damning mistakes if we are not careful with this powerful, powerful new tool. For instance, there's a story out at futurism.com. And they're really hitting the guy, Sam Altman. He's the guy behind OpenAI, behind ChatGPT. And the headline reads, Sam Altman's parenting strategy sounds low-key horrifying. I don't really like that title. Like low-key horrifying. Like, you mean he wants a robot to replace him? But late last year, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told Tonight Show host Jimmy Kimmel, all right, that raising a child was now impossible without constantly turning to AI for advice. And I was talking to my brother. That's the closest I am to being a parent. I'm an uncle. I was talking to my brother last night. Not once did he mention AI. I'm sure the AI is useful for him and his wife in certain ways. But I'd imagine most of the stuff, especially stuff he's going through with a toddler, it's not necessarily you need to consult the AI. It's more paying attention and dedicating the time and attention and paying attention to how behaviors change as they grow older. And like, are you going to farm out potty training to artificial intelligence? Now, maybe you look up different methods of training to use the toilet. But at a certain point, it gets to where you're removing the human element in everything, not just a particular job, not just a particular economic function, because that's been replaced time and time again. And people find new jobs and new economic functions. But people are more than just an economic function. People are more than a job or a paycheck. And hell, people are more than who they vote for and all these other consumers and all these other categories we use. They're certainly a hell of a lot more than their so-called group, whether you're Republican, Democrat, black, white, whatever. And I'm not singing some song of Kumbaya, everybody get along. I'm saying you're more than that. You're better than you think, and you're worse than you think. So let's stop hiding behind this I'm okay and you're okay. Well, really, my group's okay and your group's awful. Let's stop that. And realize that the technology that's coming is going to mean you need to be extra diligent in understanding what it means to be a person. Who are you? Why are you here? Who do I serve when I wake up first thing in the morning and take the next step through each day? Those things that you can't find on a balance sheet, those things you can't find even in a grade sheet. But here's Sam Altman saying, well, last year it's impossible, constantly turning to AI for advice. Though humans have been cool with that, able to do that since the dawn of time. And it's really a dystopian sort of picture. Apparently, kids, by the way, are not being handed actual books. Like with beautifully human-done art, it's a lot of mind-melting AI slop. And they're rapidly losing the ability to read. Now, the beautiful thing is my little niece is talking. She can hold a whole conversation at a pretty young age. She loves reading. And she's getting real smart. Real smart. God bless her parents. But here's what Sam Altman tweeted on Friday that has these folks saying, I don't know about this, guys. It's like low-key, man, horrifying. Altman tweeted, cool use case of ChatGPT work I heard last night. Connect your family calendars and explain your kids' interests. Every morning for the drive to school, have it make a podcast that talks about one kid's soccer game that afternoon, one kid's upcoming birthday, some news, etc. By the way, Altman had a baby via a surrogate with his husband last year. Just keep in mind who's building these things, folks. The horrifying suggestion of feeding children AI-generated drivel before they even have a chance to get to school, where they're probably likely to be exposed to more AI slop from their educators, didn't sit well with many on X. What if you just talk to your children? One person said. Others were taken aback with how the billionaire CEO could have possibly thought this was a good idea. It's hard, it's an abhorrent idea, but it's also, this is the guy. It's one thing if this was just some random guy that everybody knew. It's a whole other thing when he's the guy behind OpenAI. He's trying to pitch it to America, AI writ large, and he's so blind to this. I don't know. Again, careful. So you think the transgender stuff's weird, and it is. It's weird, it's tragic, pick your adjective. But are you actually ready for transhumanism? Because it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Again, you better know when you wake up in the morning, who you serve. Is it yourself? Is it the almighty dollar? Is it like just having a good society? Like a pluralistic, democratic republic? Is that what motivates you when you wake up, when you first open your eyes, right? Is it drink? Smoking a doobie? Because, by the way, that just happened. For the first time in at least recorded American history, more people are smoking marijuana than smoking cigarettes. Now, I would say it's progress of a kind. But if what you're serving when you wake up every morning and you go about your day is where can I get my next hit? Or maybe I need to check social media, see how that post I threw out last night when I was cranky did. Again, who are you serving? Because these folks would love to see not just a great new tool for kids to get a better education at K through 12 and learn a new skill so they can, well, be beautiful people in their lives. It's more trending towards you are this just meat suit with all sorts of desires and drives. So kind of, number one, know your place. Number two, well, if you know your place and you behave, so, your credit score goes up. If you know your place and you behave, then we will tickle all those desires for you. Everything you could possibly imagine, any possible desire. In fact, you might find yourself like in the upper class, where you can kind of dictate what that will be. Or it might be that you could be like, you're not that ambitious and you're not that smart. So you just want your ration for the day. And I'm making it sound so dystopian, but aren't we kind of close? Now, there are a lot of folks who break this system that's being built around us, this cage that's being built around us, because they really do have enduring personal relationships of love. That when they wake up in the morning, the person they're serving is their husband, their wife. The person they're serving is their children or their friends. And it doesn't have to be some big dramatic thing. But ideally, when you wake up in the morning and you go about your day, you should be serving God. And in serving him, you can serve your fellow man. Does it mean you can't have fun? You can't drink, heck, even smoke a little marijuana. You can't watch football on a Saturday all day. That you can't run for office and try to be president of the United States or at least a senator or become the next, music star or something, or open that little restaurant downtown, a little entrepreneurial venture you always wanted to do. You wanted to open a butcher shop. Like, there's so many things in life you can do. Like, go for it, man. But again, in this coming technological wave, this transhumanist wave, you better know who you serve. Because you're going to have to serve somebody. Sorry to quote Bob Dylan. And in particular, what's disturbing is people like Sam Altman are of this secular world that apparently sees above the canopy of the trees of human history. Yeah, though they're sitting on top of, let's say, redwoods overlooking the entire forest, they're starting to get the bright idea that this trunk that's holding us up, well, that's what's holding us back. We'll go even higher. We'll just float in the air if we just chop this thing down. We're getting more and more removed from our roots. In fact, it's the roots that are holding it back. Don't you want to fly like a butterfly? Well, you ain't a butterfly. And you're about to saw off the branch you're sitting on, if not the very root structure of what we're sitting on. But he is convinced it's that sort of right side of history thing. Last year during a podcast appearance, he argued, my kids will never be smarter than AI, but they'll be vastly more capable. He argued there will be problems with people forming very problematic parasocial relationships that will force society to figure out new guardrails. What a mess. Absolute mess. So, I agree with Coach. AI is the future. I'm not one of these folks that says you can just unplug everything. Not yet. Maybe we'll have to declare a jihad on AI and robots at some point, like we're in a Dune novel. But for now, there is an option. And I think it gets the most human of us. Like, what are we oriented towards? What do we pray to in the morning? What are we trying to build with that being our orientation? Are we building the Tower of Babel? Or are we rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, bit by bit, that actually help real human beings as they have lived beautifully, despite all the tragedies and suffering in life, lived beautifully for thousands of years? I don't know. Appreciate Coach being clear-eyed, but we all need to be pretty wary. And it won't be a government solution for most of this stuff. It'll be, well, you. And the choices you make. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings. And there at Dylan Rings, Josh and Leslie Ryder are ready to help you across the board, any and all of your jewelry needs. And, of course, they have a great inventory, from high-end pieces to everyday items. Maybe it's like a starter set. Maybe you have a little niece and you want to get her a surprise gift, something fun like that. Or it could be you've got something that you wear all the time, and it looks like you wear it all the time. Like you've been wearing it for years, haven't you? Because it looks a little like you going for a rustic look. Well, if you want it to shine and shimmer like it's brand new again, Dylan Rings can do that with a spa treatment of that favorite jewelry piece. They can also do repairs, custom design work. And right now, if you go to their Facebook page, you can see August birthstone, because we are in the month of August, 2026 now. Peridot. It isn't just August birthstone. It's one of the only gems ever found in meteorites. It's a space gem. So some of these glowing olive green crystals literally hitchhiked to Earth on space rocks that are billions of years old. Ancient Egyptians called it the gem of the sun. Hawaiians say it's the tears of Pele, the volcano goddess. I don't know about that. Sounds like a demon to me, but pretty cool. These are really cool gems. And scientists have actually even spotted them on Mars. So if you're feeling a little extraterrestrial today, get by Dylan Rings, especially if you're born in August or know somebody who is. Great birthstone. Again, that's Dylan Rings at 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know, go.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
WAKA, Blue Water Broadcasting, Ty and Doll Incorporated, and Piggly Wiggly Food for Less invite you to help us stuff the truck. on Saturday, August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sturbridge Piggly Wiggly Food for Less. Donate non-perishable food, classroom supplies, or cash to help local students facing food insecurity and support our teachers. Visit WAKA.com for a shopping list and stop by our community resource fair for valuable services and information for River Region families. Together, we can stuff the truck and strengthen our community.
Before you commit to that plumbing repair or upgrade, get a second opinion from Headley Plumbing. Our estimate could save you thousands. We do it all: residential, commercial, and septic tank service, serving the entire river region. No membership, no contract, just fair, reliable service. Call Headley Plumbing at 285-3667 or visit headleyplumbing.com. In our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the river region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Hopes for a peace deal to end the Iran war are lifting Wall Street's benchmarks. The Dow, Nasdaq, and the S&P opened higher this morning. Easing oil prices are also encouraging investors. Investors in Elon Musk's space company will get a chance to question him today in his first quarterly earnings call since an initial public offering. Stock in SpaceX is down by half from its June peak as investors worry that Musk had oversold investors on its future prospects. 25 states are suing the Trump administration over its latest tariffs, calling them a pretext for replacing import taxes the Supreme Court struck down in February. Toyota reports a nearly doubling of profit in the first fiscal quarter. Solid demand in the U.S. and India, combined with a favorable exchange rate, boosting results. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber, now open from 6 to 5. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a pretty routine summer forecast with mostly sunny skies today. High temperature fairly close to normal at 92 and tonight's low 72. And each day this week there will be spotty, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms, but not many to go around. And they tend to fade out at night with the high temperature up to about 93 Wednesday, 94 Thursday and Friday, low 70s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Are listening to Joey Clark. Joey Clark. Joey Clark. Joey Clark. You're listening to Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing. And there at Cole Plumbing, James Cole and the entire team are ready to help you out with any and all of your plumbing needs. And of course, it could be a big job, like you have a problem with your water tank or you have a major leak inside or outside your home. Well, they can fix that problem, minimal discomfort to you in your home without making an extra mess, tearing out a bunch of drywall, digging up a huge hole in your yard. They can get the job done with precision and expertise with their proprietary pipelining technology there at Cole Plumbing. And of course, they can also help you on the smaller jobs. You just aren't handy and you need some help with a clogged drain or flapper on the toilet ain't working. Or it could be you want to upgrade, say nicer things like new shower fixtures or taller toilet. Always nice. Taller, bigger toilet. It's an upgrade, folks. Check it out. And of course, Cole Plumbing can get that job done for you. So check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com, but I say save their number. That's 279-8919. 8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bull, call on Cole. So we go from Senator Tuberville, coach, to now Senator Britt. This is at 1819 News, and a write-up of how Senator Britt went on a show called Keep It Real. Conversations with Jillian Michaels. Oh, yeah, I've seen this lady. Didn't she used to be like a fitness person? What is her deal? I'm forgetting. She has a striking look. Like, who is she? Yeah, fitness trainer. She's 52. I'm pulling her up on the screen here. That woman's 52. Y'all out there tricking people. I'm just taken aback. And apparently, she's also a lesbian. Anyway, Katie Britt, Senator Britt, was on Jillian Michaels' Keeping It Real, talking about, well, AI and social media, in particular, how it's affecting the children's. So let's hear this out. Because I have a sense what we're going to hear is there are a lot of problems, not much is being done about it, honestly.
Totally fangirling when I got to meet you. And I'm going to need you to send me your arm workout routine. It's obviously got to be next. So hopefully this will get me in good enough with you that you'll send that my way. But it was such a pleasure to
Anytime.
be here. And it was just so nice to meet you. And I appreciate you continuing to elevate your voice and other people's so that we can have national conversations about things like this. So look, you can
send me your arm workout. You know, pick up the weights and put them down, Senator. Anyway, let's actually hear the real story.
nailed it just a second ago when you said people describe you as a mom in Congress. Look, the thing that's most important to me are my husband and my kids, and I feel honored to have the opportunity to represent the great state of Alabama. But I tell people every day, I don't have to ask people what it's like to raise kids right now. I am living it. And so I know for so many people, my friends in particular, this social media space is uncharted territory. Jillian, you and I, when we grew up, we didn't have these complexities. I mean, growing up is hard enough as it is. And then we layer on top of it all of the things that social media has brought into our children's life. First off, I think big tech could do many of these things on their own and have chosen not to. So I think continuing to apply the pressure there so that there is a change in behavior from that perspective. But then also Congress has been
Wait. Why is big tech, number one, designed these things in the way they've designed them? And then they refuse when they see all the problems. They're like, oh, whoopsie. Or they deny it for a while until they get really called out on it. This is just like they're serving the almighty dollar when they wake up in the morning. Or are they a bunch of freaks? I have a sense, especially you like really high IQ folks. And I don't mean just like you're good in one category, like you're an engineer and you're good with the math, like good aptitude there, high or verbal intelligence or something like that. I mean, like you truly are high IQ. I'm just saying the temptations there of not being a good person, in fact, being really weird, are immense. There's a reason people have described it as a Luciferian intellect. So perhaps the people designing these systems intend for these effects on the children. And not just the children, everybody. Perhaps that's the whole point. To get your ass addicted. To make you depressed. To make you anxious. And yet coming back for more. So, maybe that's why big tech's not actually doing things on these very systems they created. How many of those big tech folks, by the way, let their own kids on this stuff? Now, Sam Altman's using his own product on his kids, or at least he says he is. You got to wonder. Anyway. Keep going, Katie.
And totally feckless in this arena. And at the end of the day, we're allowing social media companies to put their profits above people, and in this case, these people are our children. So I think we have a number of things that we can talk about in this space, a number of the different avenues that we've taken. But at the end of the day, doing nothing is not an option. And I think knowing what we know now that we did not know at the rise of social media, I think it is incumbent upon those of us, who are leading to actually lead and to do something about it. So we can talk about any of those that you want to, and I think they go into different spaces. And I think it's important for people who are listening to hear about it, because there may be someone in their own life that is struggling with those things, Jillian, or that is dealing with one of the things that we're trying to tackle. And the knowledge of it may open up a conversation that ultimately saves a life.
I think that parents don't really understand how broad the concerns are. We're told, oh, kids get FOMO and they become anxious and they're constantly comparing themselves and there's cyberbullying. But when I sat in that room and you ran down all of the concerns, from them buying drugs with fentanyl on Snapchat at the click of a finger, to gambling online.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. She sounds like a fitness bro. Yeah, it works for her. But I think we actually have a solution to this. Now, I know, like, Senator Britt might have some legislation she wants to really get done, which we've talked about before. In particular, she's worried about like the gambling stuff, or even some of the prediction market stuff that kids are just getting into. So she's teamed up with Dick Blumenthal of Connecticut, the Nutmeg State, the Gaming Advertisement to Minors Enforcement Act, aimed at limiting minors' exposure to online gambling-related advertisements on social media and other websites. I guess that's a marginal step in the right direction, I suppose. I wonder, again, it's always in the details, but I think we've come up with a solution. What maybe we need is competition in the digital space. And what if like the granddaddy social media website made a roaring comeback? Like sort of, how millennial, my generation, got into like vinyl records. So they do sound good if you got a good system and setup. It don't sound that great on those crappy little suitcase things, but there is something about vinyl. But then the generation younger than me getting into like cassette tapes and VHS and all this stuff. So what if like we get a version of that, that's sort of what's old is new again with social media, and it doesn't have all the weird stuff. It's just old school. Like, for instance, what if MySpace came back? Well, there's a story here that MySpace from Fox Business could soon make a comeback after nearly 2 decades on the decline. The owners of the once popular social media platform, Tim and Chris Vanderhook, announced plans to relaunch MySpace with a new vision. Oh no, are they going to give in to the trend? Did you hire a bunch of freaks too to manipulate the children? Don't do it, Tim and Chris. Don't do it. Just bring back old MySpace. But the Vanderhooks said in a new documentary, MySpace, that they built an entirely new MySpace, but it did not work out. We really tried to modernize it, but it was a different company at that point. It wasn't the same MySpace, Tim explained. I remember when he was my friend, my first friend online. Chris added, by that time, they had been through 4 other sets of management and CEOs. We were going to be the 5th ones. And I think that's where a lot of people who were really just done. The two now plan to relaunch the platform at some point, but a target date has not yet been set. So this is all just aspiration. Oh, and it wasn't Tim and Chris. I think it was Tom Anderson. Yeah, it was Tom. Sorry, Tom, Tim, 1 letter difference. But Tom was my first friend. And in fact, Tom Anderson was everyone's automatic first friend. He sold the company in 2005 and is not expected to be involved in the Vanderhook's upcoming initiative. Well, never mind then. It's screwed. If you're not bringing back Tom Anderson, MySpace is not going to work. That's a key part of it. It's like saying we're bringing back vinyl records without needles in the group. like without speakers. No, you got to have Tom Anderson as everybody's first friend. It was huge between 2005 and 2008 when I was in high school. Oh, I imagine. I wonder if my MySpace is still out there, and there are very embarrassing things on there. MySpace and Facebook would attract roughly 115 million visitors per month in 2008, but Facebook surpassed MySpace in global website traffic around that time and overtook MySpace in 2009. Or it could be, hey, kid, we're not going to let you use all this stuff until you're older. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, sorry, you're not in charge of this house. Anyway, 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. I still have a hard time believing Jillian Michaels is 52. Dadgum. I guess working out does help. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you, well, with any and all of your pest control needs. Now, if you're looking for a great company to just do basic pest control for you, get on their monthly subscription program. They show up on a regular basis. Most of the time, don't even have to go inside. They just spray around the property, and it gets the job done. But it could be you have an acute problem, like something that's just cropped up, like a big fire ant colony. You don't want the kids or the dogs getting in the middle of that, or maybe you keep stepping in it. That's no fun. Or perhaps you have a big mosquito problem. And for a while, you've been spraying yourself, or you buy those candles, and you're like, I don't think these candles work, but you keep buying them anyway and lighting them, and they stink. Why not just get the yard sprayed? Why not just get the yard treated to where you can actually enjoy the front porch, the backyard, or maybe you got a big old property, acres on top of acres, and you like walking it. Wouldn't it be great to be able to do that without having to deal with those nasty, nasty mosquitoes? So Pest Pro, they can really across the board help you out with any pest control need, any concern, including something like a squirrel in your head. They can help you out there as well with wildlife control. But the real thing I love to say about Pest Pro is just their success proves how good they are. It just started 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it's a small company initially, 2-3 folks there, and now it's grown leaps and bounds in the last 5 years. And it's because of not only how good they are at the service, but the people, the culture that's been built up there by Ashley, how much she's given back to the local community. And they're just easy to work with, trustworthy. So check them out today. That's Pest Pro Services. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro on the Book of Faces, or just call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
What are you getting? Still deciding, but I do know on August 11th, I'm choosing Rhett Marcus for Congress. Why Rhett Marcus? Because he's a true conservative, endorsed by President Trump and Senator Katie Britt. Oh, then you can trust him. And he's a small business owner, not a politician. Sounds like this choice on August 11th is the easiest decision we'll ever make.
Remember to vote on August 11th. I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
This is James Cole with Cole Plumbing, and I want to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. I have been advertising with them for several years, and they have brought me quality business. I really appreciate them.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM. WACV.
Joey Clark.
This part of the program brought to you by Waverly Advisors. Now, formerly Invista Advisors, Invista has now joined up with Waverly Advisors. And of course, Austin Baranko still providing the great same services to clients that have been with them for years. But they have stepped up because Invista has joined Waverly Advisors to expand the resources and services available to their clients and remaining aligned with a firm that actually shares their values. In fact, this is an Alabama-based firm. We had a long conversation the other day with Austin, laying out a lot of the details and very cool things that, well, now the folks you've known for years over there in Vista can do now that they are part of Waverly Advisors. And really what they can help you with is financial services across the board. For instance, of course, asset management, like that stock portfolio of yours. They can really help you there. They're genius at it. Brett McDonald is great at this great model, and Austin's running the brokerage desk there. They've really made the customers happy. And, you know, they can help you, of course. Maybe you're near or in retirement. Like you know, the whole point is like you don't want to lose money. So you don't want to do too risky stuff. But, you know, maybe you're younger. Maybe you came by some money in your 20s or your 30s and you want to really invest. And, you know, I got time. I can afford to take some risk here. They can offer that to you as well. It all depends on you and say your risk threshold and what you're willing to bear there. And of course, beyond just investments, they can help you with financial planning and fiduciary advice. So maybe you're running a nonprofit or running an endowment of some sort. Could be a lot of your money is tied up in your small business, or it could be you're starting a family or you're more worried about end-of-life concerns. Across the board, Waverly Advisors can help you. Same number, 387-0094. That's 387-0094. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Coming up, we have Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage joining us here in studio. Look forward to that. And, well, how about this? Let's hit an early break because Madeline's already here. Let me let her in.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The full Senate could vote later this week on Todd Blanche's nomination to be the nation's Attorney General. A man who went to prison for manslaughter in his father's 2010 killing in Arizona, charged with setting the largest of the wildfires wreaking havoc on Washington state's second largest city. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says 37-year-old Aaron Faranici of Spokane was arrested and booked on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire. It's the biggest of the three blazes that have destroyed at least 700 buildings and forced about 67,000 people from their homes. A trade vessel in the Strait of Hormuz reported being struck by a projectile overnight as it was transiting near the coast of Oman. The incident comes amid conflicting reports of Iran participating in peace talks. This is SRN News.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Win a BMW X7 or your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's BMW and $25,000 free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. It's a pretty routine summer forecast with mostly sunny skies today. High temperature fairly close to normal at 92 and tonight's low 72. And each day this week there will be spotty, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms, but not many to go around. And they tend to fade out at night with the high temperature up to about 93 Wednesday, 94 Thursday and Friday, low 70s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. 2 people have been arrested in connection with the beating death of a Montgomery man in early June. 31-year-old Richard Harris and 42-year-old Pamela Nichols have been charged with the murder of 43-year-old William Nichols. Nichols was found unresponsive in the 1400 block of Federal Drive on June 5th. He died the following day from blunt force trauma injuries. Prattville residents could soon be seeing higher monthly bills for trash collection and wastewater services. Neither service has seen a rate increase in over 5 years. The Prattville City Council is expected to vote on proposed rate hikes at tonight's meeting. A former Alabama Department of Corrections employee is being held on a $4.5 million bond. 23-year-old Nyanna Longmore of Montgomery is charged with attempting to bring drugs and contraband into the Elmore Correctional Facility. Investigators say family members of inmates would leave packages with Longmire which she would deliver to prisoners. Among other crimes, Longmire is charged with conspiracy to traffic fentanyl, methamphetamine, and opium. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are several ways to attract more buyers to your home. First, price it right to sell, not to sit. An accurate market analysis will tell you what price it should be. Next, prepare the home to show and sell by deep cleaning by a professional cleaner, including carpet. Declutter all rooms, including closets. Evaluate flooring, replace if needed. Paint inside and out where needed, and make the kitchen and bath sparkle. How about the exterior? Are the colors faded on the shutters or fascia? Power washing them and all sidewalks and driveways and patios prior to listing the house. Remember, your price and curb appeal will create a showing appointment. Your condition of the house will make them stay and look longer and buy quicker. For all the steps you need to take to get your house ready for sale, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 334-221-2883 or 334-551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark. Joey Clark.
Like I said, I think those jingles are going to be used to torture me in the future, but for now, they make me.
That one had a little ditty to it.
Yeah, they make me giggle. Like Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage here in the studio. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good. Good to be here.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
How's the job?
Good. So I actually have a story that I want to brag about if we've got time.
Yeah.
So last week on the 20th, I believe that was a Monday, July 20th, a 93.1 News Talk listener called us with a contract and said, hey, I'm a veteran. I'd really like to close on this by the end of the month. Can y'all make that happen? So we got the contract on July 20th. We closed on July 30th.
Wow.
Yeah. So that following Thursday, we actually got the clear to close on the 28th, but the parties wanted to wait until the 30th to close. So 6 business days from start to finish.
Wow.
Yes.
Like you don't get stuff in the mail that fast.
No. And the listing agent said on the contract when he saw the July 30th date, he said, did y'all mean August 30th? No, we meant July 30th.
That's incredible.
Isn't it though? So there's a lot of things in this market we can't control. I can't control the interest rates, but I can control the speed and the customer service that we render at Alabama Home Mortgage.
Now, I'd imagine, though, you have been watching this new Fed chairman and some of that stuff in the background.
Yeah.
But you can't, like you said, you can't control it.
I can't. No. They just had a meeting. Was it last week?
Yeah.
And basically signaled that not to expect any kind of rate cut between now and the end of the year, which is a little disappointing. We kind of thought that between now and November, they would want to do something to buy favor with the electorate, and maybe they will. They still have a couple more meetings before then. But it doesn't sound like the rate side of things is going to get any better. So I tell people, look, you've just got to make a personal decision and not make those big life milestone decisions based off of headlines.
Well, when you look at it, especially from your perspective in the mortgage business, like say they drop it 25 basis points, 50 basis points, how does that affect things?
Yeah, well, it all depends on how much you're borrowing, right? So, I mean, if you're borrowing 200,000 or less, 25 basis points or a quarter point to a half a point difference in rate sounds good, right? And it is good. I mean, every bit we can save in this economy is a good thing, but it's not yielding hundreds of dollars worth of savings every month. Now, the more you borrow, if you're looking to borrow 400,000 plus, a half a point could save you a couple $100 a month. So it's all relative to how much you're borrowing.
And it also, like, people I think make the mistake, they get their head, especially news junkies, and what the latest news headline is and what the politicians are squawking about. Whereas if they actually sat down with somebody like you and looked at the numbers and really thought through, oh no, what do I need? Who cares about the rest of the world? What do I need in this particular moment? People might find, no, now's the right time.
Yeah, and I tell people, think of it like a scale. When rates are up, normally prices are lower. When rates go down, the prices go up. So when the interest rates do inevitably drop, we'll see prices go up. And that could offset the interest rate savings. So I would say just go ahead. If you're in the market to buy something, whether you've outgrown your current home, maybe you're a first-time home buyer, if you're able to buy now, you can always refinance in the future.
Well, and what I love is like when folks call you up at 567-4223, it could be like, well, you get in the right position and you get some knowledge and you don't immediately have to pull the trigger. But from the story you just told, say you're a veteran and you haven't taken advantage of the VA programs and you're like, I want to, the turnaround time, y'all can move pretty swiftly.
Absolutely. Yes. Everybody always has this misconception that because it's a Veterans Administration, it's going to take forever. The one thing that's not broken about the VA is the mortgage program. And if you've got a certified veteran lending specialist like us at Alabama Home Mortgage that knows the VA mortgage program inside and out, it can close just as fast as any other loan program.
So again, folks, that number is 567-4223, 567-4223, and you can still apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's it.
And there is a difference in mortgage companies. I'm just going to say it that way. Like, let Kim and Madeline Cannon here prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. So just in general, how are things? You think Montgomery needs a new mayor?
I guess I can pull a Fauci and plead the fifth, right?
Fair enough. Sorry to put you in that spot. You didn't screw up COVID. So I'm sorry to even, you didn't screw up Montgomery either.
No.
But that's just been on top of my mind. But I think what's going to be cool is even if Montgomery doesn't get a new mayor next year, and it depends on who runs and all sorts of stuff.
Well, it depends on if people get out and vote.
That too.
Nobody voted in the last municipal race.
Very few. Because nobody really ran. I'm sorry, Barrett. You jumped in last second, man, after trying to get other people. Like, I like Barrett. Don't get me wrong. Barrett Gilbreth, folks. But, like, it was kind of...
last minute effort.
Yeah. So that all depends on who actually jumps in. I have a sense somebody might. But say we keep the same mayor. Maybe Montgomery just needs a new governor. Like Coach Tupper. Maybe that'll actually change things. Like, okay, when I get more police, well, I'll call up my buddies at the White House and we'll have National Guard down here pretty quick.
Well, maybe you're onto something.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you have to blink if you're tired of this conversation.
No, I have big opinions on these things, but
How about this? Kind of nerdy, but it's part of Christian history. Found this yesterday. Archaeologists found a skeleton wearing an amulet that may change the history of Christianity.
Okay.
And really the change is how fast Christianity actually moved across from Mediterranean up into Europe.
Okay.
So this was, it's an 1,800-year-old silver amulet discovered, buried in Frankfurt, Germany, in a grave there. Still next to the chin of the man who wore it is 18 lines of text written in Latin on just 1.37 inches of silver foil. and it could be enough to rewrite known history of Christianity in the Roman Empire. The amulet and the inscription are the oldest evidence of Christianity found north of the Alps. So very, very early, like by 230, 270, you're already getting in Germania and getting into the heart of what is Europe. Which is a shame. You look at Europe today and like, what happened to you guys? What happened to Catholic France? What happened to, well, Spain's still kind of all right. But like what, not really though.
I
in
mean,
terms of
here
their
lately,
politics.
yeah.
But it's like, what happened to you guys? But every other link to reliable evidence of Christian life in the northern Alpine area of the Roman Empire is at least 50 years younger, all coming from the 4th century AD. But again, this amulet found in the grave dating between 230 and 270. It's known as the Frankfurt inscription. And let me see here. Yeah, it's going to affect all sorts of things. So I thought it was pretty cool. And apparently this is where a good use of, say, AI and stuff was used. A computer tomograph was used of, like, what does it actually say? Because the challenge in the analysis was the silver sheet was rolled, but of course, after around 1800 years, it was also crumpled and pressed. So using the CT, we were able to, the computer tomograph, we were able to scan it at a very high resolution and create a 3D model. The virtual object was then scanned piece by piece, slowly revealing the words, allowing experts to finally get a look at this thing. So you want to hear what it says?
Yeah, I'm shocked it didn't disintegrate after all this time.
It is pretty remarkable. Some edges were lost due to damage, and some words remain open to discussion. So they haven't perfectly, we can read Latin now, but the original inscription is entirely in Latin, unusual for a time that features amulets written in Greek and Hebrew. But here's what it says. In the name of Saint Titus, holy, 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 in the name of Jesus Christ, Son of God, the Lord of the world, resist with, and this is one of those words, strength, all attacks, setbacks, the God grants well-being, admission. This rescue device protects the person who surrenders to the will of Lord Jesus Christ, God's Son, since before Jesus Christ all knees bow, the heavenly ones, the earthly, and the underground, and every tongue confess to Jesus Christ.
How big is this thing? That's a lot of script.
Only an inch, 1.37 inches, they said.
So it must have been micro.
Yeah, tiny.
Yeah.
But that's kind of amazing to see that essentially every knee will bend.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that that's still intact, all knees bow, the heavenly ones, the earthly, and the underground, and every tongue confess. From 1800 years ago in Germany. It's like, what a find. And again, it makes me wonder, with all the talk of like science, it has its role, but science, we know as much until like science figures out the next thing we actually know. Like, stop treating it like it's some solid thing that, well, because the science said so, because Dr. Fauci said so, you need to wear a mask. Well, you don't need to wear a mask right now, but wear a mask now.
I was in Publix the other day, and there
Yeah.
are still people 6 years later wearing masks.
Really?
Yes.
Now, some people, just like have lupus and stuff.
Okay, well, they get a pass, but those that are still wearing it because of fear of COVID.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, and the effects, I think we're still, even if they're not always explicit, I think we're still dealing with the effects of that time.
Sure.
Like, just the behaviors of
Mhm.
everybody. Like, I realized pretty quickly, and it was a very depressing realization, like, I was already quarantine compliant. Like, my life didn't change at all. Like, oh, they're going to shut down the gym. Yeah, but I know the owner, so we'll go do maintenance and just go work out. So, like, nothing changed. And because we're in media, it's like, we don't want to piss off the local radio station by making them stay home. We were essential personnel, apparently.
We were too.
Nice,
Mhm.
nice. Whereas that was so arbitrary, though.
Right.
Like, why is it that folks in the mortgage business and folks in the radio business are essential, but then the guy who's, working the factory job or the truck driver, or like a lot of other people stocking shelves at grocery stores, like, why are they the non-essential? Like, why are certain
Right.
things shut? Why are the mom and pop shut down, but then the Walmart stays open?
We had never been busier. 2020 and 2021 were our best years in business
Well, they were.
because it was insane for real estate because you had interest rates in the 2s
Yep.
and the 3s that were all propped up by the federal government.
Yep.
So
It's like everything went gangbusters. So that is
Yes.
affected by money being put in the economy. So real estate for sure. But then like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like, and then crypto too. Like all sorts of stuff just went nuts.
Mm.
I don't know. And I think we're still just generally dealing with the fallout of all that nonsense. But I'm glad, do you have opinions about Dr. Fauci and his performance the other day?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he needs to be hung in the public square. I don't care if he is 85 or 86 years old. He knew exactly what he was doing.
He did. Yeah, and that's where the diary, which like you shared my private diary, Senator Paul, you're trying to embarrass me. It's like, no, it wasn't your private diary, you dope. Again, he's lying about that too. It was a public log, real-time log. He was even using his assistants to help him put together that they're trying to hide away so he could later write a book or something.
Sure.
And they found it. And it does. It reveals not just a guy who I can't tell the public everything. It's kind of like, you want me on that wall, you need me on that wall. No, it showed a guy who was actively lying to the public, actively covering up his own
Side
malfeasance.
effects from the vaccine.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Big
Like he
stuff.
was receiving medication to fix things that had happened to him from the vaccine.
And then there's this element of, here's the number of people that are dead today. And look, I'm on the front cover of the Washington Post.
Uh-huh. I'm a celebrity. People can't help themselves.
And he was soliciting, Josh Hawley laid this out beautifully, soliciting cash prizes, using his federal staff to get big old multi-million-dollar cash prizes, or like $1 million each award, and getting multiple of them. And then going to the ethics board to say, like, allow him to do this and to get these. Yeah, and it just shows like what power does to a person. You often think of power as like the person we elect president, or like a major CEO.
Power and greed.
But like, yeah, this guy he was more untouchable than presidents in many ways, the way he ran things. And it was just horrid to see. And I don't know, like, there is part of me that think there's a bit of a scapegoating thing going on here, because a lot of people, effed up during that period. So I think because not many people were held accountable, a lot of folks are throwing a lot of that on Fauci.
But he was the ringleader.
But just the stuff that we have in the diary,
Mm-hmm.
I can't disagree with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's vindication for all of us who refused to take the shot as well.
Yeah. I did initially, and then my grandfather said I couldn't come visit him, and I'm like, whatever. I'll take it.
People were pressured by family and employers and all of it. So.
No, I didn't. I was like, I'm done after that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got the Moderna, so it came in 2 doses, and the second one felt like I had a hangover and the flu at the same time.
Mm. And then they had the booster. Remember, you get
Oh, yeah.
3 and 4.
Well, and then a year and a half after that, I never got sick. In most of my life, don't really get sick much. Once or twice got the flu or whatever, but like, even when I get a cold, I get over it pretty quickly. And I was getting sick for like weeks. And it wasn't like new COVID or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a cold that lasted for weeks. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And finally, I've got on a regimen over the last few years. I'm back to, I don't get sick. Now, maybe Joe, you should hang out with your niece more and kids, those Petri dishes, and see if you get sick. But yeah, I noticed real effects in my own case. And the fact that Fauci had actual side effects from the vaccine and he hid it, after publicly, it's not as he got it. He made a big public show of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just wretched. Absolutely wretched.
Especially for young, healthy males that otherwise really didn't have any risk if they contracted COVID, are now faced with lifelong cardiovascular problems.
Yeah. And yet he got a decade-long pardon.
For what? If he didn't do anything wrong?
Well, everybody's just going to come after him.
Mm.
Same thing with my son, Hunter. Or,
Have they figured out yet who actually stroked the pen on that?
I think the auto pen did.
Right, but who was holding it?
Oh, no, that's why it's an auto pen.
Okay.
I
don't think Biden even knew that was being done.
I agree with you. Now he'll probably come out today and say, oh, I know.
He's got his wits about him. He just wrote a book.
Like so many of these fake political books. books. It's like, what ghostwriter slaved over that for a week or two?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, now you don't need a ghostwriter. You got AI.
Yeah. Nah, but you can still tell.
Yeah, you're right.
You can tell. I've noticed AI's all right for like basic information, like basic arguments and stuff that are like standardized. But actual intuitive, especially creative writing, no, I can't. It's not very good at it. It's not good at poetry. I don't know. And it's not good just doing it on your own, on its own. Like sometimes it can be guided. So people are going to make, mark my words, if it's not already happened, you're going to get like full feature length films, maybe by people who don't have that much money, that are actually amazing movies. Just done with AI. Like, I think that's coming, where there's going to be certain art that truly talented creative people use the AI as the main tool, and they create something out of it.
They've created AI singers.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of the AI music apps work amazing, and I'm just been using the consumer-facing ones, like stuff that's truly specialized. And I know, like, a lot of producers are already using it. So there's going to be a lot of use for this stuff, but again, it can't replace the fully human part. And it would be a shame if instead of, it's one thing to write a song and come up with a recording, but I would still like to hear, even if the AI comes up with a song with horns, I'd still like to hear actual human beings playing actual horns in person, because it's just different.
Yeah.
It's better, much better. So I think actually really talented musicians are going to have quite a job, session musicians, because there's going to be a lot of music that's created, and it's going to be their job to come up and beat the machine, essentially, in terms of its capabilities. So it'll be interesting. And I also suspect there's going to be, like I was saying earlier, MySpace wants to come back.
I
But
saw
they're
that.
not going to have Tom,
Hmm.
which is like, then that's not MySpace. He was my first friend.
I thought it was Tom and his brother, right?
No, that was Tim and Chris.
Oh, so there really was no Tom.
No, there is a Tom.
Oh.
Tom Anderson, he sold it in like 2005.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remember when Tom was everybody's first friend. And I'm remembering back, I'm like, I wonder if that page is still there. Like, I can't recall anything truly embarrassing, but I'm sure if I saw the page, because I'm a 2005, I'm a sophomore at Montgomery Catholic. I'm sure there's stuff on there that's just like, oh my God, you should have been bullied.
Yep. I never had a MySpace.
Yeah, because you were telling me you graduated high school in 2012. So yeah, at that point, apparently Facebook overtakes MySpace in 2009.
Okay. And see, I never got a Facebook until college.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it was
no.
basically by force, because if you wanted to be involved in anything, they'd be like, oh, well, just follow us on Facebook.
And
So-
I had Facebook in high school, but Facebook is like buried the really old stuff for some reason. It's like, even on my own page, it's very difficult to find anything from that era.
That's probably for the best.
Probably. Generally, I think
Hmm.
getting off social media is just a good idea.
Yeah.
272-9228 if y'all want to get in on the conversation. 334-272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Soldier Boy.
Hey, Soldier Boy, what's up?
Hey, you were talking about the pandemic. You know, here's the interesting thing. How many millions of dollars did the basketball player that played that remember him from? He used to play Kyrie Irving. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't play in New York, so he couldn't play in any home game.
Right.
Are they going to reimburse him for all his millions he lost?
It's the NBA, man.
Well, let's talk about tennis. How about tennis in Australia shut down that island? Who was that? The former champion didn't have a chance to win the triple crown because they wouldn't let him play because he wouldn't take the shot. Was that Federer? Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another one. It's like a Djokic or I don't know. Like,
That's it. That's who it was. It wasn't Federer. It was Djokic. Yeah. The guy that played this year.
And when
at
is
Wimbledon.
Tony Kornheiser gonna take the bud that crawled up his ass and died out and apologize to Aaron Rodgers?
How many people in the military, Joey, that got out of the military because of that and lost money and lost their careers?
I've met a few. Now some did all right. Like they went on to greener pastures because they had, you've been in the military. There are a lot of talented people that can
right.
figure it out. But it still sucks, especially if you're like right there on the cusp of retirement and you have to make that decision of, Well, I guess I'm not going to take it.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting about that is I think Mr. Trump also said they could come back with their same rank with the back pay, which I think is very admirable
It
to
is.
do.
But a lot of those folks probably aren't even going to take that. They're done.
Oh yeah, and I got a lot of friends of mine that were nurses that became traveling nurses and worked for private physicians because the hospitals were trying to force them to take it. Now, at the time when the pandemic was going on, I worked at one of the casinos in the one in Wetumpka, for example. Okay.
Okay.
I worked surveillance there. They were offering $500 for everybody who would take the shot.
Wow. Well, how much? Like the airport? Like, well, how about 1,000?
Well, here's the thing: they're going to pay you $500 in your paycheck if you took the shot. Okay. But here's the small catch about it: is how much were they getting paid by the government to tell people to get it?
Well, everybody was getting paid ridiculous amounts with those open door loan programs. So yeah.
I got lucky during the pandemic. I wouldn't say I was lucky and unlucky. I found out I had kidney stones. Okay. And my insurance company, now kidney stones, there's no way in hell that I'm going to get a private room. But because of the COVID, I got a private room all right because they had to keep everybody, quarantined kind of, And remember every hospital was saying how all their beds were filled and everything? It's because a lot of the 50% of the beds are usually dual occupied. We only have one person because they were all scared about COVID. So and how about the person that put the guy up in New York City that put
Cuomo?
God, he killed people by putting them in old folks' home and had pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, I mean, there's just the whole time. There's a reason in my own mind, I've kind of just moved on. But the recent Fauci testimony brings all that back. I mean, and God bless Rand Paul, at least for getting that out there and reminding people, because I think it's reminding people not just of the COVID stuff in particular, but of general distrust of government, distrust of the corporate press, distrust of the so-called experts. Now, that doesn't mean that doesn't create more problems, because if you don't actually have trusted institutions or people with expertise that you trust, who are you going to trust? And I mean, you can trust yourself, but at a certain point, you're only you. You do need to rely on other people to a certain extent. So I think we're going through this sort of rebuilding phase of, thank God we learned that lesson, even thank God for that lesson. But we better actually apply it to building something people can actually trust.
Well, some people won't even go to hospitals anymore. They've gone to private physicians.
Sure.
And a lot of private physicians have retired.
Sure.
I had my first child at the latter half of COVID. I was in labor and delivery with a mask on.
My God.
Oh, my God.
So it was wild times.
Man.
Oh, my goodness.
But we're here. We survived.
That's right.
COVID
Live to
pandemic.
tell it.
Well, I appreciate the call, Soldier Boy.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Now, you ever, I suspect you don't, just from knowing you a little bit, but folks that they find the latest self-help person, they're like, I love this lady's books. You should check these books out. Really good. And I don't know, I've never heard of this name, but apparently millions have looked to Nicole LaPera.
I don't know who that is.
Okay. For advice on how to achieve contentment and maintain healthy relationships.
Well, it sounds good.
Want to know how her own life is? No, this caught my eye. It's a New York Times headline, and it says, a self-help influencer with troubles of her own. Who would have thunk it? We'll be right back after this, folks.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly. whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a prospector. That's right, man. I'm prospecting for gold. You dig? No, but it looks like you do. And you know the first thing I'm going to do when I strike it rich? What's that? I'm going to hire David Ernest to be my money man. You mean everyone's favorite asset preservationist? That is correct, man. I'm going to call him up at 833-596-7233. 833-596-SAFE. You know, I've heard a lot of the good things about David Ernest. You know, he's the best money man around with over 40 years of experience. Experience is necessary, especially when you're digging for gold. That's right, man. And I can see that you don't have very much experience. What do you mean, man? Well, you have the little plastic bucket and shovel like a kid would take to the beach. Yeah, man. Well, I want to start out small and then kind of pace myself up until I strike it rich. Well, maybe you should call David Ernest first. You think he's got a shovel? Never know till you ask. I dig, man.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Hi, everybody. It's a pretty routine summer forecast with mostly sunny skies today. High temperature fairly close to normal at 92 and tonight's low 72. And each day this week there will be spotty, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms, but not many to go around. And they tend to fade out at night, with the high temperature up to about 93 Wednesday, 94 Thursday and Friday, low 70s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
You're listening
to Joey Clark.
Joey Clark.
It
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Madeline Cannon from Alabama Home Mortgage here in the studio with me. And I just ran across this. I've not really read this just yet, but it might be fun to get into this. In 2018, after several years of practicing conventional psychotherapy in Philadelphia, Nicole LaPera began a new venture, The Holistic Psychologist. I already don't like it. An online self-help platform that reflected her growing skepticism toward traditional methods of treating anxiety, depression, and other mental afflictions. At first, it wasn't much more than an Instagram page with a few hundred followers. Within 2 years, there were 1.5 million. A 2020 profile in Forbes described LaPera as, quote, radically changing the business of mental health. The Holistic Psychologist had expanded to include a website and a paid membership service, all of it available to meet the emotional unraveling of the pandemic. Lucrative book deals followed. LaPera's main message, that we are all capable of healing ourselves, was finding an even more pervasive perception. So, we're talking about effects of the pandemic. The psychological, and not to mention, often psychology keeps trying to steal spiritual ground. That's why I went, we're all capable of healing ourselves. Really?
Right. I just Googled her name.
Yeah.
I already don't like her.
I was wondering. I saw you over there on the phone.
Yeah. I think you're about to get to what just came up when I Googled her name.
Yeah. Her chief partner in the enterprise was her wife, another lesbian. We had Jillian Michaels earlier. By the way, she's 52. I'm like, maybe there's something to the gym bro thing. Like, good for her. They're tricking people these days.
Well, it looks like she's married, but she also, they're a throuple. Is that right?
Oh, my God. No.
That's what it says.
Here, well, I'm going to just keep doing this New York Times write-up.
Okay.
So we'll get the full kind of splaying out of the story. But her chief partner in the enterprise is her wife, Lauren Galvin, known as Lolly, who helped shape the company's identity. Early on, they were joined by a third person, Jenna Weekland.
That's her.
Who engaged with the online community and appeared alongside LaPera in videos and on podcast episodes. Like Galvin, Weekland had no formal psychological training. At one point, LaPera announced on Instagram that she, Galvin, and Weekland were in a romantic relationship together. Now, there's a lot of people, like, you don't have to be a psychologist. I got it, since it's going to end in some problems. There's going to be some problems. Like 3 women.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Living together, sleeping together, running a multi-million-dollar function, like enterprise together, all at the same time. It's going to be disaster.
Right.
Well, isn't that sexist? No. 3
It's
dudes
not.
sleeping with each other? No. Like, it's going to be a disaster.
That would be correct.
Yeah, and you could mix the sexes. Probably going to be, like, I don't know. Let's keep going. Last summer, there was a troubling disruption. In August, a startling accusation appeared on the Holistic Psychologist Instagram page. Dr. Nicole LaPera has never written an Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube she's spoken since the inception of her career, someone posted anonymously. She is the face of a brand she did not voice. Soon after the post appeared, the Instagram account went dark for a time, and its followers speculated about what had happened. Many wondered about Weekland, who had vanished from the holistic psychologist community about 4 months earlier. Traditional therapy demands a certain anonymity on the part of the clinician. But quote-unquote media therapists, as the psychiatrist and author M. Scott Peck long ago described, this segment of the guru class build their images on self-revelation. Given that LaPera had shared so much about her own life online and in her popular self-help books, it was logical that her followers would be curious, or is it curious, about what had changed. The story became clear earlier this year when Weekland sued LaPera and Galvin, arguing that her role in the holistic psychologist was foundational and that she deserved significantly more compensation than she had received. LaPera and Galvin then filed a lawsuit against Weekland, accusing her of misusing company funds. The civil cases, which include allegations of assault, were soon accompanied by police reports. all of it suggested that LaPera's life was marked less by an acquired serenity than by instability and crisis. LaPera had landed in uncomfortable contrast to her own advice to, quote unquote, choose people who, quote, bring peace and contentment instead of chaos and suffering. Here's a little secret.
She chose a life of chaos and suffering.
But also, like, even like you choose a lot of the right things, like you really, like, you don't do your level best not to sin. There's probably going to be some suffering stuff.
Sure.
Like this whole idea that I'll just make the right choices and I'll never suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, good luck with that. Wow. I didn't know that was the advice. Choose people who bring peace and contentment instead of chaos and suffering, which on its face is not the worst thing to tell somebody. Like if you are in a toxic relationship with somebody, or you have people around you that are driving you nuts, yeah, you might not want to choose them, so to speak. But I think it also leads to this sort of like, well, I chose the wrong husband or the wrong wife or the wrong third wheel in my throuple or whatever, and so now I'm going to choose something else. And it's like, well, what about commitment, guys? Like when things get all chaotic and suffering crops up. But in her writings, LaPera describes growing up in a household overlaid with anxiety. If her parents were late to meet her, she assumed the worst, that they had died. As she tells it, LaPera often found her needs subjugated to those of a much older sister who suffered from chronic illness. Their parents met problems in a spirit of agitation, whether they were one ingredient short for dinner or in the throes of a domestic emergency. Catastrophizing was the family's default mental state. Wishing to hold their attention, LaPera worked hard at everything, efforts that led her to Cornell University and a doctoral program in clinical psychology at the New School of Social Research in New York. Why were you?
Well, this is not always the case, but oftentimes when people study that, they're looking for what's wrong with them.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right about that. She was drawn to attachment theory, which posits that the bonds we develop with parental figures in infancy and early childhood determine our relationship styles in adult life. Not the worst theory. Meeting Galvin was a turning point. She felt right, as LaPera puts it in her book. And by the way, felt right is italicized. So she didn't just feel right, she felt right.
Mm. Emphasis on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the title of her book is How to Do the Work.
Okay.
Which is a great Prince funk track off the Rainbow Children, but willing to do the work. I think he's talking about like race politics. So anyway, Galvin challenged LaPera in the ways that excited her. She wrote, together they built a life in Philly where LaPera had grown up and now ran her practice. Her clients were rich people and poor people, stressed out professionals and the formerly incarcerated. No matter who they were, they felt stuck, she observed, wanting change but failing to enact it. More and more, she felt the same way. The issue crystallized, becoming her quote-unquote rock bottom, she would write, about 13 years ago, shortly after her 30th birthday. On vacation with Galvin, she suffered an acute bout of despair. That sucks. She began...
Is that a clinical diagnosis? Acute bout of despair?
I mean, I found that in the book of Job, but like, you know. Yeah. She began connecting her physical ailments, stomach trouble, fainting, panic attacks, to the childhood tensions that conventional therapy had failed to resolve. With Galvin's help, well, maybe you need to take some probiotics. With Galvin's help, LaPera undertook the slow and steady work of repairing her body and mind. The couple began every morning with meditation. They studied nutrition and lifted weights. They married and imagined the new professional path that led to the creation of the holistic psychologist. Eventually, she started talking about nervous system dysregulation rather than mental illness, a designation she had come to question. Weakland's lawsuit against the couple surfaced as a matter of online conversation a few months after it was filed, so it did little to interfere with the launch of LaPera's latest book, Reparenting the Inner Child.
When are these people going to grow up?
Millions follow this stuff.
I know they do.
Which arrived in March as an immediate bestseller with an effusive endorsement from Mel Robbins. Who's Mel Robbins?
Oh, you know, the Let Them lady. You know what I'm talking about? She wears the big, thick glasses, has a podcast, and her whole philosophy is let them talk about you, let them,
Oh,
basically like,
I already don't like her.
you know what I'm talking about though?
Just see it. No, I don't know
Okay.
this person, but I mean, look at me. I'm a bachelor who's almost 38.
I didn't
think
know
I
who
listened to
LaPera
Mel.
was. Well, I
didn't
don't
know
listen
who
to Mel
LaPera
either.
was. I just saw the headline.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to argue. But
I don't know who she is. No, I don't know who she is. No, she's just a top podcaster for people who are into that.
So LaPera's book tour included appearances at the Royal Geographic Society in London and the 92nd Street Y, Manhattan's epicenter of bourgeois cultural exchange. On stage in New York before the sold-out crowd, LaPera was interviewed by Ellen Vora, a Columbia-trained psychiatrist who called her, quote, a guiding light for the culture. That night, as she had in the past, LaPera presented herself as someone who, although still at work on herself, had overcome. I would see someone that hurt me, and I would immediately understand why they did it from their childhood, the wounding, she said, explaining an unhealthy tendency she had to emphasize in excess. LaPera, 43, that's about the right age, talked about reparenting herself. Let me say that sentence again. LaPera, 43, talked about, quote-unquote, reparenting herself. She had taken an extended break from her family to explore who she was. It was hard, she said, but here, too, she seemed to prevail. Her father was seated in the audience, and she pointed affectionately toward him. What was reparenting exactly? Vora asked. It was, quote, showing up in a different way for ourselves, LaPera answered. Being the supportive, caring, attuned caregiver that very few of us had in childhood. Derived from the pop psychology of the 1970s, the idea was hardly original to her, but she had revived it for a new generation. And LaPera's first experience of celebrity occurred in the summer of 2019 when she decided to conduct an inner child meditation oceanside in Los Angeles. Like, what? This is just now.
It's just perpetuating victimhood.
Yeah.
They want to be victims, and so they have to keep pointing towards times in their lives that they were wronged. I'm not saying that childhood trauma doesn't play a big role in who you become and how you handle life, but come on now.
Apparently, it was a huge turnout. She was shocked. Weekland, a frequent poster on the Holistic Psychologist Instagram account, was among those on the beach in Venice that morning. At 32, she was a recent transplant to L.A. from Colorado, where she had worked as a nurse's aide in a pediatric oncology unit. Kids with cancer, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Although she had arrived too late for the session, Weekland met LaPera and gave her a deck of oracle cards. What are those?
Like tarot cards?
I guess.
Okay.
Soon they began messaging each other, or at least that is what Weekland assumed. Later, she came to believe that she had been communicating with Galvin, she told me, the reporter says. LaPera and Galvin declined interview requests sent to them through their lawyers, as well as LaPera's literary agent and book publicist. When asked by phone about specific allegations, one of those lawyers said she had no comment and hung up. It's quite a great parenthetical insertion right there. The Holistic Psychologist took shape as a website with LaPera as the face of a startup devoted to mental fitness. With Galvin, she expanded the franchise to include the Self-Healer Circle. I think I remember that fitness thing.
Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and
But they expanded the franchise to include the Self-Healer Circle. At $20 a month, the cost, now $26 a month, was roughly equal to what 4 or 5 minutes of individual therapy would set you back in Tribeca or West Hollywood. Beyond monthly Q&As with LaPera, the Circle offered members a range of online events, lectures, and somatic practices, whatever that means. When the site went live, so many people tried to enroll, the external server crashed. Weekland sent a message offering to help and was immediately hired. Telegenic and open in her affect, Weekland started appearing on camera, heading some of the Circle's content teachings, in which she shared her own story as a child of parents immersed in poverty and addiction. With LaPera, she co-hosted Self-Healer Soundboard, a podcast that ran for 2 years. I'm glad you're here for this. Not long after starting her job, Weekland received an invitation from LaPera and Galvin to spend part of the holiday season with them. At this point, like, all the demons are like, do it to go on the Christmas vacation. But don't call it Christmas. Landing in Philadelphia after Christmas, Weekland made her way to the Four Seasons. In a single room with 2 beds, the couple laid out gifts for her, Weekland said. Later, they decamped to an Airbnb in the Poconos, where on New Year's Eve, Weekland recalled, they drank, smoked weed, and kissed.
This sounds like Fauci's diary.
No, and I'm looking at a picture of them on Instagram, and I'm like,
Why?
it's so, no, it's embedded in the article.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yeah. Weekland quickly fell for both women. With them, she said she felt, quote unquote, chosen.
Do any of them have blue hair?
No, they all like, the reason I said I look at this and I kind of just go, huh, is because you look at them and they're all kind of glowing and it's all very well presented.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, I'm on this thing of like, why the allure of chaos over Christ? And at the end of the day, it's because chaos seems awesome at first. Like, I always think of this Jordan Peterson line. He's like, why do people do cocaine? Because cocaine's great initially. Why do people do drugs? Why do people get involved in all this stuff? Because initially it seems very alluring. And like, we're doing great. We're making money. And we're doing kind of like hot stuff. Like, I never thought that our grandparents would think would be like, sends you to the hell for all time. Like, it's fun. It's fun. It's exciting. Like, we're healing ourselves at the same time. And I just have a sense this is not that unusual. They just happen to be in the public eye making money and stuff. I don't think they're the only folks. Well, given the amount of people following them. But on July 2021, they have moved into a rented stucco house in Scottsdale, Arizona. Makes sense. Where they bought a bed large enough for 3. So king size. Ironically. LaPera announced
a king-size bed for all the queens.
Yeah, indeed. I am in a throuple, the post began, a 3-person committed relationship. She had been reluctant to share this, she said, but she and her partners had promised to be, quote, transparent, authentic, and candid about who we are. A few months into the arrangement, Weeklands grew close to the next-door neighbor, Jennifer Colsar. From the beginning, Colsar...
Oh, mercy, we're going to add somebody else to the bed.
Do you think a woman wrote this?
I don't know.
Or it could be some queen, who knows? Colsar said in an interview she overheard arguments coming from the backyard, some of which frightened her daughter. Uh-oh. Jenna once asked, can you hear us? What can you hear? Colsar told me. And I told her, I heard a lot of accusations. Colsar told Weekland that she was particularly struck by her partner's habit of, quote, constantly telling her that she was the problem. Well, you got to choose the right people to save yourself. Still, Weekland's role in the company was growing. In 2023, she signed an agreement with LaPera and Galvin, giving her a 1/3 ownership stake. In junior time, a parent company of the Holistic Psychologist. The audience for the Instagram account grew to 9 million followers. You might be wondering, why am I covering this? Because it's a fascinating story of modern times. Like
9 million, that's a lot of people.
A lot of people. Delivering a constant churn of aphorism along the way. Some of the posts were philosophical, sharp, even poetic. Grieving the death of a parent who is still alive means realizing the person you needed never existed. Wait, what the F was that sentence? Grieving the death of a parent who is still alive? Okay. Sorry. That one actually pissed me off. Ask people have actually lost their parents at whatever age. Others were confounding. Not knowing that you are hungry is a core sign of unresolved trauma. LaPera's popularity also fed online videos in which she used role play to illustrate her insights. In vignettes on maternal narcissism, LaPera typically portrayed both the stunted mother and the yearning child, now grown up. So we're gonna literally take the voices in our head and we're gonna make characters on them, out of them, and put them online
and sell them for $26 a month.
Yeah. But for a while, it was Weakland cast as the younger daughter victimized by an oblivious mother. In a standard scenario, Weakland is on the floor, hair in pigtails, clutching a stuffed penguin. In one clip, her character explains that she feels loved only for her accomplishments. That won't matter when you're at Harvard, LaPera responds, demonstrating the worst possible parental reaction. Other videos had Weakland acting as the patient to LaPera's therapist, given the underlying power imbalance of her actual relationship, Weakland said, those just made me feel sick. And so she struggled to leave. And that we're at the point of the lawsuit. So late that spring, Weakland flew east to stay with friends in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. She didn't want LaPera and Galvin to know where she had gone, but suspected she was being tracked. Hoping to throw them off, she sent a delivery of cat food to one of her previous short-term rental addresses in Scottsdale.
Yeah, they had cats.
Asked her friend Colsar to pick them up. When Colsar arrived, she told me she saw LaPera and Galvin in a car outside the building. They were following her. When Colsar returned later, she said the couple was still there. It just blows your mind that these are the people who are presenting themselves as quote-unquote self-help, said Colsar. Despite the conflict, LaPera joined Weakland in Gettysburg in July. They stayed with Weakland's friend, who described LaPera as relaxed and happy during her visit. Weakland and LaPera had never spent so much time alone together and grew closer. Later that summer, Weakland and LaPera were back in Scottsdale. It was against this backdrop that the anonymously written Instagram post claiming that LaPera was the face of a brand she did not voice appeared. In fact, Galvin had written it, as she and LaPera later admitted in their legal filings. This was not Galvin's first expression of volatility. In 2012, according to New Jersey public records, an order of protection was taken out against her in a domestic violence case. Like, okay, the more I got to hit a break and the more I read this, like, this is literal hell. They're in hell. It looked great on Instagram, but they're in hell. Literally recreating and reliving trauma and constantly accusing everybody else. It's literal hell.
And monetizing.
At least you're making money at it. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I had to do this alone. I wouldn't have known who Mel Robbins was.
Yeah. Happy to help.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, we'll come back and find something else to do. But, you know, maybe I should finish a story. I don't know. Like, what actually went down here? How much more is this? Okay, we're almost done. Taken as a whole in the lawsuit, the documents provide a view of unhinged behavior among the women who seem fixated on arguing and surveilling one another.
Seems healthy.
Well, it's also like, duh. Of course they were doing that. Weakland acknowledged that all three had frequently recorded their fights. In her suit, Weakland maintains that Galvin threatened to release private recordings of her, including nude videos, and LaPera did nothing to stop Galvin's extortionist threats. The couple, in response, claimed that Galvin had not threatened to send nude images, but rather videos of Weakland being physically abusive. Weakland went on to file a complaint regarding the matter, in which with the Scottsdale Police Department. LaPera has filed her own report with the police, maintaining that Weakland improperly used her credit card last year to make thousands of dollars worth of purchases on Amazon and elsewhere. Weakland denied that claim. In their lawsuit, LaPera and Galvin further alleged that Weakland had misappropriated a total of more than $1 million of corporate funds for her own use. Weakland denied this too, saying in an email that the expenditures were all business-related. Those issues have yet to be resolved, but in court in February, Weakland won a protective order against Galvin, effective for 2 years. The petition included her contention that Galvin had entered her backyard, peered into her windows, and sent her images of her trespass. In legal filings, Galvin and LaPera denied Weakland's interpretation.
Interpretation.
By the way, that's kind of crazy. You sneak into somebody's place, you take photos of yourself spying on them, and then send the photos.
Right. That's why I'm like, why is it open to interpretation? I think it's pretty clear what they were doing.
So here's how this Times piece ends. LaPera's continuing influence invites the question of how much it ought to matter if you're a therapist, either someone you see in person or a public figure you have come to rely on lives a life very different from the one he or she is trying to help you achieve. If the treatment is succeeding, should it be of any consequence? Central to the field of medical humanities is the Jungian idea of wounded healer, a figure whose own pain becomes a vital instrument in curing others. But what if the healer's own pain seems insurmountable or corrosive? At the end of LaPera's talk at the 90-second Why, audience members were given a chance to ask questions. One woman got up to say she had done everything, all the journaling, all the self-interrogation, and was still not where she wanted to be. LaPera smiled in commiseration. The saying that many of us love to hate is that healing isn't linear, she said. And that is real. A lot of y'all just need Jesus, man. And I'm not just saying, like, just say I got Jesus and stuff, like a true encounter. But, like, don't get me wrong, we could pick out many a church and find similar dynamics. But, yeah, I don't know. I look at sort of the modern world and, like, how psychology in many ways has, I'll just put it bluntly, psychology has replaced the confessional. Sacrament of confession. And it's actually something J.D. Vance writes about in his book, like why he was attracted to Catholicism, is because he has all this trauma from his childhood, crazy upbringing. And it finally was like, yes, a lot of people did a lot of things to you that were awful, but what do you need to repent for, sir? And it put the question back on him. And he said that it never come into his mind. Nobody else had ever presented it to him that way. It's like, yes, there's a lot of sin in this world, but what sins have you contributed? And does that solve every problem? No. It's just I see some of this self-help stuff, and it's always the other person's fault. And you don't need God's grace. You don't need, you can self-heal. It's like, I'm okay and you're okay. As long as we pretend we're okay, but we're really not okay, in fact.
Yeah, I mean, if you look to man or another woman in this case, you're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Anyway, I read that in real time, reacting in real time. And it's just another example of like 9 million people were following that crap. And then you got to think of the subset of the fandom. Like some were probably taking the self-help stuff seriously. Some are probably perverts. Let's just be honest. Because that's the internet. Anyway.
Well, everything on the internet's such a curated version, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's very fake.
Yep.
And you want to believe, and I think there are some folks that are like, that's just who they are. They're like genuine folks. But it's never that simple.
No.
Never
and it's
that
used too much as a medium for comparison, and comparison will be a thief of joy any day.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like right now, I'm reading St. Augustine's Confessions, where it's essentially him confessing like how he was all the way back when he was a younger child to him becoming a bishop. And it's fascinating because it's not a lot of this pop psychology or this scientific language. It is, and he's very philosophical. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a brilliant writer, brilliant ancient writer. But the amount of just like actually thinking with common sense and reflecting back on things where it isn't the constant like healing of trauma. Like there's a lot of him going, I'm the one who was screwed up. There's a lot of that. And it's fascinating to see that unfold. And it doesn't have to necessarily, some people read Augustine and they're like, it's whatever, it doesn't speak to them. And fine. There's a lot of different types of, and I just find in my own experience to broaden this out, like read something from the 4th century. Like read something from early Christendom, a saint or a great leader in that cause, or like true luminaries. And you don't even have to go that far back, but like read something that isn't of this time. Sit with it, because they're people too. In many ways, they aren't as screwed up as all of us. Now they're screwed up because they're human beings, but like there's the uniquely modern problems. It's refreshing to see like, oh, there were different ways of actually thinking through these things that seem much more profound than what we just read through. Anyway, got to hit this break. We'll be right back. Final hour coming up.
From the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Iran and the Gulf Arab state of Oman making progress toward a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a potential breakthrough that could help wind down the war in the Middle East. The talks are ongoing. Meanwhile, big oil companies continue to book massive profits as fighting in Iran disrupts energy markets and sends oil and gasoline prices sharply higher. BP said that its profit more than doubled to $3.9 billion in the second quarter. Saudi Aramco reporting a 44% year-on-year increase in second quarter profit. President Trump said that ExxonMobil and Chevron are making, quote, too much money. The Senate Judiciary Committee votes 12-10 to advance the nomination of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to the full Senate for a final confirmation vote. That vote could happen this week. This is SRN News.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Giveaways galore all summer long. Diamond Days Diamond Jewelry Giveaway and TV Tuesdays TV Giveaway with $185,000 in free play at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. It's a pretty routine summer forecast with mostly sunny skies today. High temperature fairly close to normal at 92 and tonight's low 72. And each day this week there will be spotty, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms, but not many to go around, and they tend to fade out at night, with the high temperature up to about 93 Wednesday, 94 Thursday and Friday, low 70s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
1819 News.
The president of the Southeast Law Institute says that Auburn University is at risk at losing state and federal funding if they continue to retain language within its policy section on discrimination and harassment. President Eric Johnston says that section continues to include gender identity and gender expression as a protected class from discrimination, which he says is counter to a state law passed last year, the What is a Woman Act. That law codifies the definition of a male and female. The Trump administration also issued an executive order that defends biological women from gender ideology extremism, which includes gender identity and gender expression. Johnson says this part of the discrimination policy is linked to the Student Code of Conduct, which requires agreement from a student as well as others who are involved in work at the university. Johnson believes this puts Auburn University in the position of being denied both state and federal funding. A spokesperson for Auburn University told 1819 News that the university regularly reviews and updates its language to remain consistent with current legal requirements. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The city of Hoover has secured federal funds from the Department of Transportation to build an exit and interchange on Interstate 459 in order to reduce traffic within the city limits. The city will now receive $16 million in federal funds to help pay for that project. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Maybe you're doing well in sales, but you're ready for something bigger. At Blue Water Broadcasting, you'll help local businesses grow with customized marketing campaigns that combine the reach of 7 radio stations with powerful digital solutions. We're looking for someone who enjoys meeting people, earning their trust, and delivering results. If you're driven, professional, and ready to build a career, not just another sales job, we should talk. Visit BlueWaterBroadcasting.com and send me your resume today. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Man, everything costs more these days. Yep. That's why we need people like Rhett Marcus. He cut $1.5 billion in taxes.
Wait, 1.5 billion? That's a big deal. Didn't President Trump and Senator Katie Britt endorse him?
Uh-huh, they sure did.
Sounds like Rhett's the right man for Alabama.
I'll be voting for him on August 11th.
Me too.
I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You're listening
to Joey Clark.
Warm sound, clear sound, right here with Joey Clark. It's
Joey Clark.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Madeline Cannon here in the studio with me, and there's a new story out at 1819news.com, and it's about a poll. Tuberville holds slight lead over Jones. Only a slight lead.
Slight. Oh, well, you know how we feel about polls.
Yeah, the Yellowhammer State's upcoming gubernatorial election may be closer than expected, according to a new poll. And this was written up at 1819 by Craig Monger. Or Monger. I always say it wrong, Craig. I apologize. I don't do that on purpose. And Austin Shipley, who's also a good dude. And on Tuesday, the polling from the National Pro School Choice Organization, the Yes, Every Kid Foundation, showed U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville winning 49% of the projected vote compared to Democrat Doug Jones' 41%. That's not that close even, and I think Coach is going to get a lot more than that. The figures have surprised some, as most polls published thus far in the governor's race show Tuberville with a commanding lead over Jones, at times outperforming the liberal former senator by nearly 20%. Yeah.
That's a pretty big margin of error, right?
Right. Yeah, and look, that is a big margin of error. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at also some of these other races. Barry Moore winning 47-32, Catherine Robertson winning 47-31. I think those numbers are going to be even higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sample's got to be interesting. But the Tuberville-Jones matchup was the only race in the poll to be separated by less than 10%. In Alabama's U.S. Senate election, Barry Moore, yeah, I just said those. Additionally, respondents from a pool of 600 likely Alabama voters in the same poll overwhelmingly supported fully funding the state's school choice education savings accounts created by the 2024 Creating Hope and Opportunity for Our Students Education, the CHOOSE Act. The law established education savings accounts for students who pursue alternative schooling methods or attend schools outside their zones. Since then, it has seen increased funding and availability for Alabama families. This year provided a record number of applications, with almost 49,000 students seeking to take advantage of the program. For the upcoming 2026-27 school year, 12,367 students were approved for funding under the CHOOSE Act, up 70% from last year's 7,261 students.
I think they took the income limits off of it.
Or
Like
they're
anybody
slowly.
could apply.
Well, and I think it's still capped in the sense of like there's only so much funding to it.
Right. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, but I think it is over the years each stair stepping to where there's no income cap, these sorts of things. But the poll found that the majority of voters view the CHOOSE Act favorably and believe it should be fully funded so that every interested child in the state has the opportunity to benefit from it. I completely agree. Okay, it's a small thing. The survey was conducted with 601 likely voters. 56% were Republican, 32% were Democrat. According to the poll, respondents have an overwhelmingly supportive view of education freedom and school choice. Yeah, that's just not big enough. Need more people. I don't think that's how it's going to break down.
As it relates to the CHOOSE Act and how you can take state-funded dollars to a private institution, my only fear is that it'll be like colleges where the federal government hands them a blank check and then the tuition's going to go up.
It could.
If they say, we'll give you $7,000 towards your annual tuition, that $10,000 tuition is going to go up to $14,000.
Well, ideally, if this is fully funded, though, like, you know, you've got a bunch of different private schools and options, not just in Montgomery proper, but the whole river region.
Right.
So when you have enough of a, say, market, you're probably, you're not going to go up too much.
Competition will help.
And
curb
also,
that.
some of these are, you know, like Alabama Christian and Montgomery Catholic, and like they're not exactly in it for the bottom line. I mean, of course, they have to cover cost, but there's a lot of schools that are still set up for religious reasons, and they also have to be selective. So there might be that some schools up their tuition to where it's really difficult even for somebody with CHOOSE Act, like they want to be that super selective.
Yeah.
But ideally, if this gets fully funded, especially in areas where the public education system just continues to not be up to par, you'll get more schools, and perhaps even smaller schools or specialized schools, or more people utilizing. You get enough people homeschooling, you get the whole micro-schooling thing. I mean, I think this is going to open up, and that's the whole general theory behind this, is if you actually empower parents, here's a bunch of money, use it to educate your children. The whole point is that we're not going through the public bureaucracy that's been running things for a long time.
Right.
You're going to get creative ways. Now, does there need to be due diligence on checking that stuff? And yeah, like we can't go too crazy with it. Because, you know, the Trump administration is talking about, they shut down over 1,000 hospices in California.
For fraud?
Yeah, that were either just not operating or were operating in a fraudulent manner, and like personal service care. And some of them were just, you know, an LLC. Nobody was even working there, but they were collecting federal money through Medicaid.
Wow.
So, you know, you do have to be careful about if you're going to do this, the government funds, like you better make sure the school's actually a school. We don't want a Leering Center here.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
But, I don't know. That's interesting, and I just think the Tuberville number is going to be higher than that. But we'll see. Maybe some folks are buying the Florida man stuff. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, it's just me, Joey.
What's up?
Let's see. We talk about the lesbian story or the politics story. Which one's wasting more of our day? Me thinks the lesbian story. You got 3 catchers, no pitchers. I'm not a prophet. I can tell you how that ball game's going to end, okay?
Yes, sir. That's how I felt about it.
It's going to be a cat fight. You ever seen a show enough cat fight, Joey? You probably have.
Oh, yeah.
Shelter.
Yeah. There's some real noises that come out of that.
I'm talking Duluthville, Mississippi on a Saturday night, and the girls are best friends, okay? Hair pulling. They always get the right hand full of hair and swing with the left. It's predictable. So you wasted like 12 minutes of our day talking about the lesbians and didn't even get to the cat fight. Come on.
I don't think it was a waste of time because you called me up and now we get to talk, and that's not a waste any day you call in.
Oh, yes, I can dazzle you with brilliance or baffle you with bullcrap. It doesn't matter with me. I'm good at both. So, Madeline, how's the crack habit with the sourdough going, baby?
Well, I've actually given the sourdough a rest, but I have a full-fledged garden now. So
you killed your starter?
Well, I did. Well, yeah, I guess I did.
Yes, you forgot to feed your
No,
starter.
I didn't forget. It was a choice. It started to gross me out, to be honest.
Oh.
It was the weekend you went to the Bahamas for the week and forgot to tell your hired help to feed the sourdough.
No, I don't know why, but it got to where it grossed me out. It was like a science project, and I just was like, I got to take a break from this for a bit. I love sourdough, but looking at it in that jar, I don't know. One day I just had enough.
Well, how are you going to be Amish if you don't learn how to bake your own bread?
I know. I never claimed I was going to be Amish.
And then you were talking about the school choice. I think you got like a half a dozen kids. Why ain't you homeschooling them if you offer the school choice?
Oh, well, I only have 2 children. I would actually love to homeschool them. They're getting to the age to be in school, and we actually have had those kind of conversations. But anyway, but I do have some pumpkins growing in my backyard. What do you think about that?
You can homeschool. They ain't good for much, but you can tell your daddy, and he will pay you to stay at home and homeschool. That's what it took for me. Because my child said, "Daddy, I can't afford not to work." I said, "Well, I can afford for you not to work. You're gonna stay home. You made them. You're gonna educate them. They will never see this inside of a daycare or a public school or even a private school."
Amen.
And you know that the private schools are just going to add the $7,000 to the tuition. They ain't letting them redneck riff-raff.
Well, that's what I was suggesting. Yeah, I know.
You think they would let them in? They might Catholic.
Yeah, no, certain ones will let them in, but maybe certain ones that start with V, maybe not.
And Catherine would kick them out because they call them dumbasses. You can't keep up with this crowd. You got to go.
Hey, we got some dumb Catholics. What are you talking about?
They did. They kicked them right out because Junior couldn't catch up with that crowd. I'm telling you, he wasn't. You can't say retarded. What do they call it nowadays? Slow.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like that girl that worked at Costco. She's Down syndrome, but not real bad.
Yeah, right.
And you can rush the gate on her, and it triggers her. She'll nut completely out if you don't show your card and just walk through real quick. My wife tells me I'm going to hell for doing that.
Yeah, you might be, man.
I know exactly who he's talking about.
Well, those are the best people.
She's sweet as she can be, but you just rush past her next time you go in badly. It triggers her. She nuts completely out. She's ready to brawl. Give me the card.
Okay, well, I have a confession while we're talking about Costco and sourdough bread. They have a brand of sourdough sandwich bread that is delicious. Have you tried it?
No, we're Amish. We have to grind our own wheat.
I know. I remember you telling me that. Well, if the Amish ever get tired, just know there's an alternative.
You have labor and you have management. I call her a prostitute because it makes her work. Yeah, I'm getting paid, baby, one way or the other. So yes, I will till the garden. I will do your chicken. I will, yes, no problem. So.
But I've got some okra growing, some purple hull peas, butter crunch lettuce, so we don't have to worry about cyclospora.
Yeah, lettuce this time of year is kind of bitter, but this winter you will do well.
Yeah.
And how do you cook your okra? The only way I can eat it is fried. Boiled is kind of slimy. So
yeah, I like fried. I like. We wanted to try to pickle some. We pickled some cucumbers this summer, and they turned out really good.
Oh yeah, she did the pickles, and she does a frozen sweet pickle. But she did the hybrids this year, and they were big. They're like 12 inches long, big old cucumbers.
By the way, like when you do all this stuff, like, gardening and like just value-added processing of foods and like that, does it help with psychological problems? Because I think it does compared to the crap I just read a second ago.
You don't have time to worry about this lesbian cat fight when you got peas to be picked, okay?
Yes, exactly.
It will make you want to speak Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish now, and I never went to school a day in my life in Spanish. See? She says, pick the piece, see? No problem, baby.
Yeah, no entiendo.
I'll have to bring you some stuff next time I'm here.
Yeah, get the canning thing. Can the peas. Don't freeze them. You know how the Amish do it, really? They don't wash them. They put them in a flour sack or a pillowcase. They just shell them, put them in a pillowcase, and put them in the freezer.
Oh,
no
wow.
blanching. It works, too, because that's the way we do them, too, now. So we're down to the white peas, the pink-eyed purple hulls, and the black eyes went out, but I prefer a white cheese. I don't. I like the white peas.
Yeah, we went with the purple hull just because they're colorful and something fun for the boys to pick.
Okay.
And they're easy to shell.
That's
when you
true.
get the ladyfingers and butter beans, that's
You got to work for it a little more.
probably one reason my wife is married to me. The first time I ever met her parents, they were shelling peas. And I walked in, she was still a few minutes behind, and they were purple hulls. So, man, I was raised in a garden. So I picked up a pan and sat down and started shelling peas with them, and I shell mine upside down. I don't shell them to pop out the top. I shell them coming out the bottom. It speeds the process up. I shelled a hamper of peas before her parents and grandparents could shell a half a hamper. So I was endeared to them for they knew I was going to be her husband, and man, I outkicked my coverage big time. So I'm glad I did.
I always love it when you call, man. I appreciate it.
See ya.
Later.
I conjure him up when I'm here.
It's fantastic. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you out. Whether you're looking to buy or sell property here in the Montgomery or surrounding areas, Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for about half a century now. And of course, he can not only help you there at the Goodson Group with buying and selling properties, a house or land, but say you have a house you want to rent out, you want to turn it into a rental investment. They have management services at the Goodson Group are great. It's a great idea. But managing property, if you have no experience, can be a real pain in the butt, real crick in the neck, so to speak. So check out the Goodson Group today. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or you want to have that rental managed, you can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or just give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Y'all check them out today. Be sure to tell them Joey sent you. Now, like something I've been kind of dancing around, and it's why I cover stuff like that New York Times thing, because I just keep finding it, whether it's more like a scientific point of view or it's like this cultural, like pop psychology thing in the self-help guru world, or just, I don't know how everybody kind of thinks stuff. Like the way people argue is often, I don't know, like, are we really getting to like the truth of things, or are we just trying to beat each other over the head with facts and figures so we get our way that we already assumed we want? But like, I don't know, the one thing that bothers me a lot is this idea of, well, you have your like faith and I'll have my faith, but like in the public space, we need to be secular because that's neutral.
Yeah, where they want to put Jesus on the shelf.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, just need to be neutral about but the thing is, like, secularism really is a religion unto itself.
Yes.
It has a creation story, a doctrine of like what a person is. It has a moral code that is always seemingly shifting, though. A vision of salvation, even a priesthood and an orthodoxy that punishes heresy. Secular humanism has every one of these, just dressed in the language of science and progress. It's a worldview that emphasizes human values and the capacity for self-fulfillment through reason and intellect, rather than reliance on supernatural beliefs of silly things. Which, again, that thing we just covered, there's a lot of that mentality of like, I just go to school and I study these psychological theories and like I can parent the inner child. And it's like, but then you start sounding bat crap crazy. Like you say religious people are crazy. You sound religious, but you have no grounding. You have no tradition. Nothing.
And they're looking and searching for their truth, as if truth is different for everybody, instead of there being the truth.
Right. Well, and there's this move by the agnostic atheist of like, we agree. Can't we agree that the physical world is real? And so I can, if I agree with you on that, and I agree about the economy, and I agree about politics, all the practical stuff, like the seen world, I agree with you on it. Maybe there are some unseen things, and we can do psychology and therapy about it, and stuff, or maybe unseen things that we can see with math and science. And these things. But it's really just the material world. So why can't we just meet on that ground? Well, because that's them presuming their argument from the get-go. That's actually a claim about the nature of reality and what's the point of human life. It's not neutral. It's a creed. So, and it's not really an accusation. There's actually the 1933 Humanist Manifesto describes humanism as quote-unquote religious, but utterly rejected the idea that religion has anything to do with traditional doctrine. And so you still see people today who are like, yeah, I'm Christian. And Jesus was like, kind of like, cool, and a good moral teacher, man. Like, no, if Jesus is not the Son of God, then he's crazy, the things he says. He's crazy on many levels. Like the Beatitudes, the Sermon on the Mount is crazy if Jesus is not who he says he is. Like, because you think about the practical world, like it completely upends that whole idea of how the practical world should work. How many say people in politics, and especially geopolitics, live out the Sermon on the Mount? Like, come on. So you need that tradition and the actual orthodoxy, or else a lot of this stuff doesn't make much sense whatsoever. But first, like humanism sort of like intends itself to be a religion. And second, it intends to deny this title to any other traditional or competing set of beliefs. Yeah, to your point. It's like, well, this will take over the public space and we'll just put Jesus on the shelf. And if you try to take Jesus out, well, maybe we'll bring Muhammad out.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll get a Baphomet on public property, like the Satanist thing. And I'm like, but you're just ironically a Satanist? You're just being edgy? Like you're literally summoning demons. But you're acting like, well, it's just neutral, right? Just neutral. But it's kind of shocking. Declare yourself a religion, then deny the name of religion to everyone else so that only your beliefs are permitted in public life, schools, and government. And it's actually the oldest heresy, and it is the beating heart of the secular project. In rejecting any absolute values or theological principles, humanism clears the way for its own undisputed authority. In dictating all ethical questions be decided on a personal, experiential, and circumstantial basis, it essentially makes the individual his own God.
Right. Your truth, my truth.
Yeah, the religion of the God who became man has met the religion of man who makes himself God. That's the collision of our age. And ethical behavior is no longer affected through divine grace and human freedom, but by individual autonomy. Again, we can heal ourselves and we can parent the inner child. And no longer is it God that we live and move and have in our being, but rather God dies, materialized man thinks he can be man or Superman only if God is not God. In fact, like some of this AI stuff, these tech bros, they literally want to live forever. They want to be like gods. And like the only way is, my firm belief is like Jesus. That's the promise of his death and resurrection, is that we will be all reunited and reanimated and made how we were supposed to be. Even envied, well, by the angels. That's why the angels fell. That's why Satan fell. So I don't know, it's been on the tip of my tongue of like, when it just keeps cropping up in certain little things. And I'm like, well, this is a religion. Like America is kind of governed. America has democratic trappings and we vote for people and we're a republic. We have that sort of formal structure of government, but really America's an oligarchy, like in the sense of, and I don't mean the oligarchy because so many people are rich, like Bernie Sanders, you dope. I mean like a few centers of interest, like a few million people out of a country at 350 million really run everything. They run the media. They run all sorts of and that's the priestly class, like academics, journalists, policy experts, and the ideological gatekeepers. Like that's who kind of runs things. And they have their own little dogmas that can't be questioned. And thus we went through the whole woke thing, and we saw it during COVID as well. So, and the problem is it does shapeshift. Like it's the next thing. So we're not going to we kind of went a little far with the trans thing. So we're going to try this next thing.
Behind door number 4.
Anyway, it's just becoming clear to me by the day that it's not us that saves, and it's not our fight over political power, and it's not our technological prowess. It's all this stuff that we make a god of ourselves. It's worshiping the creature over the creator. And, if we all worship the creator and like truly, I'm still in the camp where I don't think it'll be like perfectly heaven on earth either. Again, I think I'm not a prosperity gospel guy. Now, I do believe generally, like, if you do wise things, your life will probably be better than if you didn't do those wise things. Like, if you make responsible choices, you make good, true, beautiful choices, life on average will probably be better than if you didn't make those choices. But just because you do everything right, and nobody does, but say you do everything right, doesn't mean you're guaranteed not to suffer.
That's right. Jesus actually says the opposite, right?
Right. Literally says the opposite. And literally takes it upon himself. I would say out of a superabundance of love for his creation. That at any moment, he could have stopped what was happening. In fact, that's a great way to think of the Passion, is whether it's, and it starts with him telling Peter to put down the sword, and him being arrested, and him being accused, and him being scourged, and the crown of thorns, and the torture that ensues, all leading all the way to the crucifixion. If you think of it in terms of actually through this whole process, Jesus is the one in charge. Think of it as that's God. That's the main character. It's not us. It's not like, what do I get out of it, man? Will it help me with my childhood trauma, man, and all this stuff? But if you just read the story and you just believe, that's God. And that's what God chose to do, running the show. And then you have to ask the question, why? And it's really because he loved us so much, he wanted to defeat that suffering, that sin and death. And it was such a perfect sacrifice that one drop of his blood could heal all the sinners of the world if they accept his grace. It's a very different perspective than I think what's on average, even in some Christian circles, so-called. And it's making a comeback. There's a great book by a guy named R.R. Reno called Return of the Strong Gods. And I believe he is a Catholic, but it's about more than just religion. It's about, nation matters. Family matters. Like tribe matters. Order, like law. And yes, the use of force to enforce and advance the common good matters. It's sort of live and let live, and everybody just do their own thing, man. I'm okay, and you're okay, man. Everybody's okay, man. You got your thing. Like, no, that's falling apart. And a lot of the substitutions for these very old ideas, they also continue to lead people down blind alleys. So either we're going to change or not. But like I said earlier, like, why do people do this stuff? Because, well, you could be living in chaos for like 20-something years and be like, I'm doing great. And then the next day hits, you're like, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? It's like, there's always examples of like addiction. And hopefully some of y'all, maybe it's a tragedy if you have to experience it and talk about suffering. But if you know somebody who's an alcoholic, maybe you yourself were an alcoholic, how you were, and like not wanting to be fixed. How you were in saying, yeah, I'm messed up, but the whole world's really effed up. So I have an excuse I'm suffering, so I get to make choices to make the suffering worse. And people think, well, no, I'm okay. And I'm and they're in states of denial. They're just outright oblivious about it. And I think we live in a world where there are so many amazing creature comforts that you could live that way maybe a whole life. And you get by, like compared to what your ancestors had to do. Like, and it was great you talking to just me about the actually working the land, like working a garden and getting outside and literally touching grass. Because I think there's a disconnect from how hard life used to be and how, I'm not saying we all have to go back to it. I'm saying we take for granted all these systems that almost do the work for us, do the thinking for us. And at this point with AI, try to do the living for us. And I don't know. I started the show by saying the question should be, there's a lot of great practical questions, and you have to put your pants on and go to work and take care of the kids. And I'm not saying that's not true. There's obviously stuff you got to do every day. It's just practical. But the question of who do you serve? When you wake up in the morning, who do you serve? And if it's not God, you might think you're doing fine. I thought I was doing fine for a long, long time. And I realized, nope, I could be a heck of a lot better than I thought of myself, and I am a heck of a lot worse than I thought of myself at the same time. And we'll all have our own path in that regard. But it was Dan Morris. He used to do Noon to 3, who asked me that, and it was a very wise question, the fatherly question. Like, who do you serve? What's the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning? And I'll say it's been, not that I don't expect more suffering, other issues might crop up in my life, or I might have myself. I might make a mistake, but going from the way I used to wake up in the morning compared to what I do now, it changes things. And so, I don't think it's necessarily right that, every morning you must, say these very long prayers and do a specific way of going about your praying and your conversations with God. And at the end of the day, asking for mercy from God. Sometimes that's better expressed in meditation or words that you could say with taking care of the kids, for instance, like truly serving somebody out of selfless love, willing to go to the other. So a lot of this can be very practical. And, for all the accomplishments and achievements of the elite class and like all these folks that are popular on the internet and making crap loads of money and notoriety and yada, 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 and including all the folks because there's this whole class of Christian influencers who are really doing well, and they're brilliant folks. And I'm not saying they're necessarily bad. And I'm certainly a type that overthinks things. I think the folks that really get it right are the ones that it is just a simple and abiding faith.
Not a script.
Yep. And it's tough to get to that. Now, some people are graced where they've had it since they were a kid and they've kept it their whole lives. God bless those people. They're a great example. And never underestimate those types of folks' prayers. Maybe never see them at a party or out in the town or all this stuff, but they're praying. They're keeping the demons at bay. Great folks. But it's, just having that simple faith that I think, it should be the number one reason for hope. But there's a lot of crazy crap coming our way. But if you have that simple faith, it'll be all right. Anyway, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
I got to hit this break. Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. With over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
In today's market, one of the most misunderstood steps of buying a home is getting pre-approved. Some people avoid it because they think it means they're committing to buy right now, while others rush through it online without understanding what their purchasing power really is and the next steps in the process. Here's the truth. A pre-approval provides clarity. It tells you what you can do, not what you have to do. It helps you shop with confidence instead of guessing, and it gives you real numbers based on your finances, not estimates from an online calculator. At Alabama Home Mortgage, pre-approval is about preparation, education, and strategy. Whether you're ready to buy next month or next year, we help you understand your options so you can move forward on your timeline. And if you're not quite ready yet, that's okay. We'll help you get there because smart home ownership requires precision, not a rush decision. Let us help you prepare so when the right opportunity comes along, you're ready. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today, 334-567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's My Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. Your chances of encountering one of those random evening storms is not quite zero, but pretty small. They will fade out overnight. The low temperature down to about 72. Little day-to-day changes for the rest of the week. We'll be up around 93 tomorrow, 94 on Thursday and Friday, and gradually closer to 100 on the heat index. And each day, scattered random afternoon and evening showers and storms. It'll be feast or famine. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Listening to Joey Clark.
So we got a new story about marijuana. Well, before we get to that, this part of the program brought to you by Dillon Rings. And they're at Dillon Rings. Well, Josh and Leslie Ryder are ready to help you out. They always have a great inventory there in stock, from high-end to everyday jewelry, one-of-a-kind stuff, and, stuff that looks good, but it's not like going to break the bank, and you can wear it out on the town or go to the beach wearing it. You can have fun with it. And, of course, they can repair stuff for you, and it might not be something that's fully broke, but it's getting there. I can help you with that. So you want to resize a ring. Like you got fat or you got skinny. Like your finger just ain't the same size it used to be. They can do that and it'll be seamless, literally seamless. You won't be able to tell that any work was done other than now it fits. Like Josh Ryder, Josh the jeweler, just true artist and a bit of a scientist too. The guy is really great at what he does. And of course, there are Dylan Rings, and this is what I did working with Josh. They can do custom design work. So this pendant hanging around my neck, a Sacred Heart of Jesus, Josh custom designed it for me. And it was a pretty swift process. I mean, it takes a little while. You start with the first kind of just sitting there getting the ideas, and he'll do an artistic rendering, then do kind of AI rendering. Then you start okaying and approving certain things, and you finally get to a cat drawing, like the actual proportions and dimensions of the piece, the materials that are going to be used. And then he can bring it to life. And that's what he did for me. Really great working with him. And you're not going to be disappointed. I'll put it that way. You're going to be very, very happy, especially when you get something that's truly unique. So check out Dylan Rings today. 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And that's 119 Brown Springs Road, sort of the back entrance of AUM, but before that little shopping center there off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. But the story on marijuana use surpassed cigarette use in the United States last year, according to a new study. In 2025, 43.8 million Americans ages 12 and up used marijuana regularly, compared to 36.1 million Americans who smoked cigarettes. Marijuana use was highest among adults 18 to 25, while cigarette use was highest among adults 26 and up. Smoking was the most common mode of marijuana use, followed by edibles, vaping, dabs, waxes, and concentrates, when you just aren't getting enough THC. The study found. In addition to cigarettes, 29.3 million Americans ages 12 and up reported regular nicotine vaping use. What about these lip pillows that I'm addicted to? These nicotine pouches. A lot of folks, especially fellas my age, have got a lip pillow in as I'm talking. Around 60,000 Americans were interviewed for this latest edition of the annual survey conducted by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. This survey doesn't say why this has happened, but it comes as more states have legalized medical and recreational marijuana. 41 states have legalized medical marijuana, and 24 states have legalized recreational use. But at the very top, undefeated, alcohol. Despite marijuana's growing popularity, substance still hasn't touched alcohol. 129.1 million Americans ages 12 and up currently drink alcohol, or drank alcohol, at least in 2025. Of that figure, 44% were monthly binge drinkers. Because if you're going to drink, what are we talking, a little wine, or are we going to have a good time tonight? For men, binge drinking is defined as 5 or more drinks on one day in the past 30 days. For women, binge drinking is 4 or more drinks on one day in the past 30 days. I used to be part of that cohort for sure, man. Jack Campbell holding court, just putting down some brews. And there's even some Christmas parties where I wasn't driving, but put down a whole bottle of whiskey or something. That would be binge drinking. But this survey, conducted by the federal government since 1971, it includes findings on self-reported substance use and mental health of U.S. civilians, non-institutionalized populations 12 or older. Measures use of illegal drugs, prescription drugs, alcohol, tobacco, substance use disorder, and substance use treatment, major depressive episodes, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and behaviors, and other symptoms of mental illness, mental health care, and recovery from substance use and mental health disorders. Now, again, it's self-reporting, so I'd imagine actually some of these numbers are higher than what's being reported here. But fascinating. Marijuana, more popular than cigarettes. Anyway, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
In August, buy any large pizza at Pizza Perfect and get any medium pizza for just $2. Pizza Perfect's buffet includes pizza as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink for only $13. $12 for seniors, first responders, and military. The buffet is available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pizza Perfect is also available for pickup and delivery. Any medium pizza is just $2 with the purchase of a large at Pizza Perfect on Coliseum Boulevard in Eastbrook.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go to Ray Bowles with Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Well, I'm better than yesterday. I couldn't talk yesterday. I was in the doctor's office.
Yeah, everything all right?
Well, so this weekend I was cleaning up the yard, and over by the chicken coop, there's some riprap. You know what riprap is? Those big gray stones?
Mm-hmm.
They were buried somewhat, sticking up out of the ground, so I dug them all up so I wouldn't run them with the lawnmower, put them back in my trailer, and Monday morning, as I'm going to work, I'm at the top of the driveway, we had 2 stacks of riprap to keep the water from washing everything away. So I thought I'll throw them in there so I don't accidentally lose them on the road.
Right.
And I took the first one out, and I had the second one in my hand, and I ran back to throw it, and I hit the side of the trailer with my finger.
Oh, so like smashed it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got up that morning, I did good. I read my Bible, I said my prayers, and I threw it all out the window with that one moment.
You're just not, well, everybody makes mistakes like that one. Oh, that sounds painful, dude. So they
It hurt all the way to my elbow, halfway up my arm.
Oh.
So I went to got an x-ray, and the doctor called me back this morning and said, don't be a weenie, nothing's broken.
It's a nasty bruise, though.
It is awful. I got it all wrapped up in a black tape, and and it's not from the right hip either. It's my right hand. And the only upside to it, everything has a silver lining, and I like the upside. When I'm taking the guys to move stuff, normally I jump in to help them. I'm like, guys, I can't help you today. My hands hurt. So I just sit there and watch.
Yeah. I guess maybe it was a reward for getting up and reading your Bible, in a way.
Yeah. Satan won that battle.
So, well, while everybody else is having to move stuff, you're still helping out, though, like getting these jobs done for folks with new floors?
We are fast and furious at it. If you need a floor, call us 285-8117. We're going to be through with the schools this week, so my life goes back to normal next week. And I'll be in the store more often, but everybody else is running the store really good for me right now.
Again, that number is 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey Clark.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Appreciate you, Ray. So what did we learn today? Well, marijuana is more popular than cigarettes. MySpace is making a potential comeback without Tom, who sold the company in 2005, which makes me think it's going to go over like a Led Zeppelin. Sam Altman is the guy behind OpenAI. Seems like I don't want that guy as a dad. But he has a surrogate baby, so he's playing parent. And we didn't get to the whole Trump putting oil companies on notice, and we're talking with Iran Noah actually about to bomb the effing S out of Iran. Like, what? He can't make up his mind. Also covered a little bit of, well, if Montgomery can't get a new mayor, perhaps what Montgomery needs is a new governor. Coach Somerville making a lot of great promises. And, the poll we covered today showing him only up 8 points over Doug Jones, I think is silly and not true. That said, governing is going to be a lot harder than campaigning, but from what he is saying so far, he just made comments at a regional chamber of commerce event here in Montgomery with the mayor sitting right there next to him. I thought, well, good, Coach. Yeah, we do need to solve the crime issues. We do need to solve a lot of these issues. And if the governor is willing to make the capital city the crown jewel of the state, I'm all for it. And in fact, I think every player at local and municipal government, county municipal government, should be listening to those sorts of promises. I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of sparring publicly and words shared, but I hope at least behind the scenes, people are realizing, oh, we might actually get some energy out of this to make this city of ours a little better. Anyway, got to get out of here. I'll be back tomorrow, right at noon. Y'all stay tuned for Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.